He does.
Proceed.
We're surely going.
Look at the little guy, the little feller.
Easy going.
Go.
Down here.
Little feller.
Make sure I'm halfway down, and I'm in the middle.
Little feller.
Hi, hello there. Is it juicy? It is. Hi.
Little feller.
Oh no, I'm misaligned. A cardinal sin. Was it here I'm supposed to stand? Or on this
Get in
side?
that spot.
Goodness gracious.
Over there.
Oh no.
You Wally? No, you're in my spot. Over here.
Oh, whoops.
There we go.
Got my fractals and vertices confused.
That looks correct.
Okay, are we ready?
The fractal, what's vertices?
Yes.
Oh, fractal is a four-dimensional object, 2D four-dimensional
10.
object that is the same no matter how much you zoom in.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2. I'm buying time for equalization. 0.1.
Oh yeah.
0. It seems you've met with an uncertain fate. You find yourself at an interdimensional crossroads, a rendezvous of travelers between worlds. My name is Treijim, and we are VRTravellers. We create immersive, story-based tours with original writing, beautiful worlds, voice acting, and wholesome team effort. Welcome to the rendezvous, our point of contact to narrative domains. You may have noticed something a little different. Perhaps I don't sound the way I usually do here. Perhaps I sound less grave, more alive, less monotonous, more politinous, less Treijim, more Josh Jim. My friends, tonight's event is special. It's different. Tonight, there is no tour in the traditional sense. You may have heard the news. I am retiring from performing. My last tour was last week. Tonight's event is my grand finale. Tonight, I am going to tell you everything I had planned for the tour that I announced and then sadly cancelled. I suppose this is my way of trying to make it up to all of you, of showing you that, despite pouring my heart and soul into a narrative, not everything we begin finds completion. And that can be bittersweet. And that's okay. My friends, tonight I'll be out of character, taking all of you to a different world, where I'll be sharing you the unfinished script, the quest ideas, the potential endings, the puzzles, and the music that would have altogether made up The Waiter. And unlike our usual tours, this will be a bit more conversational. I do encourage you to ask questions as we go, while being conscious of anyone who's recording, of course, and I especially encourage you to ask questions if you're interested in telling your own narrative adventures. As always, you're welcome to stream or record tonight's event. My friends, please at this time make sure you are friends with someone else here, in case you disconnect and need to be need to send an invite request back. You're welcome to add us, your tour guides, Sheen, Pimonik, Pop123, and Rendizo, as friends. We will accept. And now, my friends, without further ado, I'm going to take a moment to hide avatars. My apologies, I need all the frames I can get.
Understandable. Welcome to VR chat.
I will go to
the internet. Alright, US East, invite plus. Please do not enter the portal until I give the signal, in case it despawns. Even though that hasn't happened in a year, old habits die hard.
Disabling avatars.
Fishing for frames.
My friends, first.
Oh, my conscious to be breathing because you're recording.
The real thing is who has faster internet.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
Damn it. Pack Lola,
Yeah,
my friend, my beautiful friend.
yeah.
Would you like to reload the world? I need to get master.
Wait,
Thank you.
Pack, my man, with the speedy internet.
Thanks, Pack.
Aw, why is the world gotta be like
I hit
this?
respawn instead of reload. Hold on.
Okay,
You
spawn.
master now.
Rejoin.
Monkey. Long time no
I need
see.
master.
Rejoin.
I will recycle
Pack.
all
Pack,
of you.
rejoin, not re.
Please.
Yeah,
just
rejoin the
world.
world. Do you know how to do
Yeah,
that?
hit the rejoin button.
You join. You get.
Yeah.
No, I think it's the order that they...
The rendezvous.
Okay.
Load in.
So
So
what place are you in?
If we reload it forward.
Go to worlds. Current world.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rejoin.
Oh.
And you'll come right back here.
It's fine. Glad you're here though.
Yep. Rejoin the current world.
There you go.
Ether Memento.
Who's
Good
next?
lord.
I called it. I fucking called it.
I tried to race you guys in.
Right behind you.
Um.
Right
Super cow.
failed the race.
You were so smug with the first, and then
This
proceeded
is
to
the
be
actual
what,
finale.
the
I'm,
internet now?
I'm killing all of you.
And it's not.
Where's Super cow?
Alright.
It's
going.
Super Cow's ahead of you. He's doing it now.
Alright. The master
Oh, it's me.
Treijim.
Okay, fantastic. Okay,
Yeah.
let's wait for
You gotta
everyone.
rejoin now.
Okay, I was actually hoping it would go down
I
the
had a
entire
feeling I was
list.
gonna be next, but I'm kind of glad that
No,
I'm
no.
not.
They just loaded it before me, even though I preloaded the world.
Internet. Looking to-
So now you can say
Supposed to
first.
be on US East.
Maybe they come here a lot more often than initially
Nope.
thought.
People, the ether, my friend.
Who knows?
I do not.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay. Even when I'm talking.
Dusty crashed.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, even when you're talking.
Oh no.
Okay, that's good to know.
Oh, it's good to know that.
Small oversight. This world has a limit of 32.
Oh no.
Oops.
Oh,
Goodness
Oh
gracious.
my.
Okay, backup worlds. Let's do the cinema because we have enough
That's
people.
okay. The rest
I
of those
think
guys
we
are
should give
challenging
Treijim
and-
some time this time to load in for us.
Uh,
Yeah.
Before we
they,
let
they
him.
can't load in. The world's full.
We have to go to that.
No, not
YouTube
Stabby, the
that-
first one.
Yeah, that
Well.
really ugly one.
I meant when we change worlds.
Not very good.
Treijim, would you like us to do a scuffed countdown as all of us on different numbers while we do it?
Was it? I didn't favor it.
Still can't get in.
I know.
Pull it up as soon as
I know.
I feel like tour guides.
At the moment,
Do
we
you
gotta-
remember which one it is, Alistair?
Hello.
Yeah, I
Wait,
do.
is it YouTube Cinema or Sutsuka's YouTube?
No, it's not you, Suzuka. That was just an amateur. It was.
It's YouTube Cinema? Okay.
Yeah, 22,000.
All right.
222,000.
Change of plans. Let's
Okay,
Racing.
give him 20 seconds.
go.
Give him 20 seconds.
Yeah, give him.
As
Nah,
everybody
they do
just
not give
ignores
him
them.
No,
I must be the
master. It's already up.
You guys,
Imagine.
Wow. Imagine giving him a chance.
Alright, who's the master this time?
I hope you're master.
It's me. It's me.
Okay, good.
The moral of the story is if you say first,
think
you won't be
so.
first.
No.
Yeah.
It's like in an anime when you say, I'm getting married tomorrow.
Karma.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone grab a seat.
Don't tell me what to do.
Don't block
No,
the
okay,
projector.
alright.
Yes, please, for heaven's sakes, do not block the projector.
Gonna look for people trying to pirate.
I can't actually take a seat 'cause these
Oh, piracy. We can't see the video.
The video.
Trust me, the video's not.
Look, the video player is for music. The video is for
for
music.
music.
Doesn't matter if you can't
That's
see
what-
it.
I wanted to
I will
pick a
be-
venue.
Yeah. Well, we're here now.
Yeah.
I'll be
Floating in.
Can I turn off?
I'll probably be here.
I
But I need. Wait, can I access the?
We did it, Sheen. We're here.
I need to pick up the
Made it. The anti-tour guide barrier
Grab a front row
dropped.
seat.
Is this in?
No, because no, that's not only
Little
this.
something
the
called
Wolfman's
too many entities in the room.
Oh, I was stupid.
Oh, we have to find a bigger room.
That sounds awesome.
Wait, is this even filled? Wait a minute.
So dark.
It's like dark in the green spot.
Needs a light.
And there's this
Wyatt,
screen
Wyatt,
that
what are you
is
doing?
blinding me.
I know. And the seats are perfectly visible too, so I don't know, it's just really funny.
It's supposed to be pitch black. It's weird.
Master. Yeah, there you go. He's in master.
Real world.
Think about that.
Okay, I don't
Some
like
world.
this. I
Okay.
don't
How many are we expecting?
6 foot.
We're at 35.
But
The world and realistic to how much.
I don't like that the seats are
I'm supposed to be
stand-upable, but I'll take it, I suppose. Just have to
Panda.
not click it.
64.
I'm
Okay.
5'11".
ladies, can you turn them on? Where the safety settings got moved to?
Apparently.
You can turn off the very poor avatars to the very.
You turn off avatars. So try this. Hit a spec.
And I stopped.
Uh-oh.
You can't really see any chairs.
Yeah, how do you get out of
Attention
these?
travelers.
There's a big lag spike.
Click on the shield.
No?
Concession stand.
Go through every range.
Normally you
Refrain
can
from eating
move.
any sandwiches you have in
Respawn?
your pockets.
Oh man.
What the hell is this? It's a name by plus. It's very big. Wait, no.
Don't
Can't
worry, I
respawn,
snapped
reload the
this
world.
stuff.
Why is there so many people here?
What is happening?
Really?
It's just trying to make myself comfortable.
Why are there
48 people in a name by plus?
Yeah.
$20
No.
for like one.
Where are you walking?
Popcorn.
Oh, here's a candy corn. That's close enough.
Oh, okay. Plus
Okay, look at feeling down there.
There be light.
Alright, you heard him here, everybody. One piece of popcorn, $20.
Oh, okay.
The popcorn
good to have
I had
It's
like
not.
a paperclip and a shoelace.
golden apple Treijim.
Golden apple judge, yes.
They're not reacting to the light.
That's ridiculous.
Vanilla regret from Diesel. Sheen corn.
It's sheen corn.
Sheen corn.
I mean, what's the corn though?
Sheen corn.
It's just like regular popcorn. Sounds inappropriate.
Two tuna melt? I haven't eaten anything yet. Oh no, that's a lie. I've eaten noodles like a
That's a matter.
4, I think.
Is
there an ether popcorn where it just contains the emotion of getting annoyed that you're having to listen to people munching?
If you
Just
order
regular
the
popcorn, but it's shaded purple.
Diesel flavor, there's a gun hidden in the popcorn. Actually, there's no popcorn. It's just a gun in a bag.
That shoots out popcorn.
Yeah, that's
Whenever you shoot
brand.
it, it goes.
How's it going? What are you doing? I spaced out.
Ah, Bubbles.
You're watching.
Bubbles.
I mean, it's
alcohol.
literature flavored pop upside down.
Alright, that's
We're on Nick
Are we intruding on an
Popcorn.
event?
Oh, wait, everyone is in a
Tastes
group.
like
What does that mean?
The hardware department.
So is that metallic or timberwood?
Yes.
Apparently, there's a way to make it less weirdly dark in this room. There's like
That's
an
not my
in-world
popcorn.
menu.
Get off.
How's the event going?
I like my popcorn. I like spoilers in it.
No, okay, fine.
Hello.
Yep.
Oh, I just clicked jump.
Travelers, on a serious note, we beg of your patience. Treijim is setting up some things for you. Please have patience. We'll be ready soon.
Yes.
Also, I just realized I'm stuck in the seat.
Yeah.
You have to respawn to get out.
Hey, that's fine. I mean, you're not going anywhere, are you? You're not gonna leave midway through, are you?
This is like
No reason to get out.
Yeah, no one needs to go anywhere. We're all here forever together.
you go to the
This
theater
kinda
and
seemed
you
like
like
a
go to the
mistake.
seat and then you're just stuck.
Imagine having money.
They're all mimics.
You go to the restaurant.
Yes, I took a little tinkle.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My friends, please position yourselves so that you can clearly hear me. I will be standing here because I need to frequently change the music over here. But I also need to be close enough to give you access to seats. So, find a spot where you can clearly hear me. I will be standing here.
Alright.
Seeing the screen is optional. The music is here to add to the atmosphere. You do not need to see the screen. I repeat, you do not need a good view of the screen. Just sit somewhere you're comfortable where you can clearly hear me. Now,
Somebody actually has
it's
popcorn.
like being at an actual cinema crunch. Before I get into the story,
I actually have popcorn.
do it. Before I get into the story, I'm going to offer a few words about the conception of this. As you know, it is called The Waiter, and you can probably guess it is about a waiter. But that wasn't the first idea I had for this story. Originally, it was going to be a barista. It was going to be a small cafe and someone who makes coffees. And then I thought, no, I don't actually like coffee. I'm not going to be able to put my heart into this. I changed it to
I crashed.
but then I didn't find.
Did you guys crush it?
You're fine.
Yeah, that was.
But then I couldn't
that was a
find
lag.
a word to sum up
Did you guys freeze?
pastry
Okay, you're
chef
fine. What happened?
that was
Yeah, froze,
sufficient
suffered.
enough.
You guys froze for
Mm.
So
Oh, okay.
I settled on a waiter. Decided they do not make the food, they simply serve the food.
Wait, did you?
I did a lot of research into what waiters do, because I've never been one myself. Watched interviews, looked up the best and worst things of
Doesn't matter.
the waiting industry, figured out what setting to put it in, all that fun stuff. And eventually,
Feel honored.
I settled on
Oh.
having a waiter who embodies
Ouch.
the best things about a waiter. That is, knowing how to read people and loving serving people.
Super. It's in the Italian world.
And this character was born from these ideas.
Pizza. Pizza the pasta. And you
This character,
I tried earlier, man.
of course,
Oh.
has weaknesses like any other character. And as we go through this script, you'll come to see just what they are and how they develop the plot.
On that one. Kinda sussy.
Now, I see some people talking in the back.
Pretty gay.
That's completely fine. I assume they're not that interested in what I'm talking about at the moment. If you do want to have a conversation with someone, I did say this is more casual, but I would still like for everyone to hear me, so if you want to talk, please take it to a distant corner or something like that. Just be considerate of recordings.
What? There's just someone up in the ceiling.
Yeah, they're allowed to be there.
I'm just...
So...
How?
This is so immersive, but thank you.
Don't worry about it.
You're welcome.
It's just like real life. Little Jen's here.
Yeah, there's always one person in the ceiling tiles.
Okay. Where to start? I'm going to stay unmuted. You're going to hear me going through all my documents, clicking and pressing keyboards and stuff, everything. Hello, Metal. You're right between me and my controls. Take a seat.
Sorry.
Get comfy.
For those of you just
To start
arriving,
off-
you do not need to see the screen. Just sit in a place you can hear Treijim, sorry.
To start off, let me paint a picture for you. This is where the story begins. We are in a train carriage. Not a modern train. An older steam train with shining wood paneling and nice red cushioned seats. But it's dark. We're going through a tunnel. And all you hear is the sounds of the train echoing off the tunnel walls. Please, as we go, adjust your volume as you see fit. These are just songs off YouTube. They are not all adjusted to work together. You should now be able to hear the train. And as we fade into this view, if you can't hear the train, come and click the resync.
It sounds like Metalgen that said that Metalgen has poor
And
internet.
or adjust your world volume.
Or wait for it to load.
Yes.
Or turn your world volume up.
There's another
Make
thing.
sure
You have to
untrusted
allow
URLs are
untrusted
on.
URLs. Exactly.
If you've never been in a video world. Okay.
It's Metalgen.
You can keep going. I'll ask my questions next.
Sure. Everyone else got the music going alright?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Excellent.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And in this train, in this tunnel, in this cabin, we join the waiter. As I'm not sure whether I was going to cut straight to the description or whether to have the following intro where he sort of talks a bit about himself. This is one of the openings I had in mind. I have a confession to make. I do not possess the confidence that many believe I do. Indeed, I do not consider myself to possess much courage at all. My mother has always said I am too smart for my own good. An aunt once said that with a smile I could have the heart of anyone in town. A merchant from across the sea once expressed his surprise at my apparent ability to read people's intentions. And when I was younger, my father told me that he could not have imagined a better son. But, of course, it is untrue. It is a facade. For you see, I too often ignore the pleas of my heart, and I dream small, for fear of risking and losing too much. But this is the story of how that all changed. The story of my first time away from my hometown, my first real job, my first love, and my first heartbreak. This is the story of my time in Afredo, and it begins here. The waiter stirs. The passengers across from him An older and a younger gentleman whisper about the end of the tunnel. As the cabin wakes up, the rhythmic, muffled clamour stirs his stomach. Is this excitement or nervousness? He swallows it down. The thought of the big city is frightening, but the young waiter is prepared. He's already secured his first job at his grandfather's restaurant, as well as accommodations, and he has a good number of coins, insurance from his father's death in the war, hidden away on his person. So, the waiter sits straight, smiles, and sets his eyes upon the window, waiting for that burst of light. And then I find the music. I find the music.
It's a lot easier when they're just buttons.
It's much easier when they're just buttons. Alright. And then we have the real opening. That was just a little taste.
An appetizer.
A little pre-meal snack, if you will.
I call it my pre-dinner.
Oh, there it is.
He's just teasing us at this point.
In his mind, his mother is still there, waving from the front gate, her golden hair dancing across her face as the carriage rounds a corner and heads for the exit of the small town where he grew up. May you find a new life, she had said, filled with opportunity, excitement, and love. He takes a deep breath. And the light comes. We zoom out of the carriage, and before us, filled with brilliant sunlight, is a gorgeous countryside. A beautiful city in the distance, sitting on the shore. Story by Treijim, world by Treijim, all that fun stuff comes up. And VRTravellers presents The Waiter. That is probably how I was going to open it. I'm going to pause here while I set up some stuff. If you have questions or comments or want to talk, eat popcorn, whatever, now's the time to do so.
We're all future plan tours to... Dang.
Really what?
Were all future tours planned to start like that? Presented by VRTravellers and then with... Yeah, opening credits.
That was my idea with the Prince. I believe
started with
Sheen is planning something similar. If it's a world we make, it's something that we're going to include. And it's something that I did intend to include in every tour that I made.
Yeah.
So wait,
Alright.
so all the music doesn't come from the team?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Like the music for the Prince, where did that come from?
Yes, this tour in aesthetic was actually kind of inspired by Ghibli films, a bit more down to earth, a bit more slice of life, a bit more quaint.
Based.
Sorry, Ghibli films.
The fun ones.
Ghibli.
Alright.
Kiki's
Ghibli
Delivery
Ghibli
Service and
Ghibli.
all that.
You wanted to ask
I
where
know
all
what
the
you meant.
music came from for the Prince.
Yeah, well, you know, I just assumed it was...
There is a lot of music. I'm happy to give out a list at the end of the tour for anyone who's interested in going and listening to these again. It's totally fine. Alright, are we all ready for the next part? Day 1. This tour is broken down into days. 10 days, but we don't do every day, don't worry.
It's like
Okay.
a flashbang.
While you're doing that,
Next scene.
Right?
Is it bright? Yes, it's bright. I'm
Flashbang.
sorry. Next scene. Imagine we are at a train station. Inside a train station. Similar to the ones from Nick's Worlds, if you know those. It's big, it's bustling, it's a big city station, and it is crazy. Chapter 1. The train station is alive. Whistles blow, dispatches holler, and crowds of people talk and laugh and cry, and everything is a soup of sound and movement. The waiter lets the buzz of the city course through him. What a beautiful day to arrive. All he needs to do is find his chauffeur that the restaurant sent. He sees a few signs with names on them over by the exit, so with his luggage in tow, he pushes forth. And then we probably move to the exit of the train station. But none of these signs bear his name. He's sure of it. The waiter climbs some stairs to get a better vantage point and looks for a clock. He's on time. Was his chauffeur delayed? He asks one of the men holding signs if there is anywhere else where travelers are picked up. The man just thumbs over his shoulder toward the exit. The waiter thanks him. It seems his mother was right about city folk. And then we move outside. And imagine, if you will, a rather quaint European city with a touch of Venice. So think canals and like a beautiful Italian countryside aesthetic.
If I ask something?
The exterior is only better than the interior in the air that the air moves more freely here. Crowds of people swarm in and out of the station entrance, two forces constantly against one another like a river mouth at high tide. There are some others here with signs, but again, none bear his name. His heart sinks a little, but he does not despair. They must be late, and so he waits. And he waits. And the sky turns orange in the evening, and he waits. And then, forgive me, I haven't practiced any of these voices. Are you waiting for someone? The waiter turns to see a young man carrying some sort of violin. He recognizes him. This man was busking across the street earlier. The waiter's mother had warned him of thieves and crooks in the city, but the waiter wants to believe people are better than that. My chauffeur, the waiter says. He's supposed to take me to the Golden Willow. The busker rubs the back of his head and looks about. Hi, you've been sitting here quite a while. I seen you across the street while I was playing. Show me your ticket. The waiter hesitates. Oh, come on. I won't take your ticket. It's useless now anyway. Look, Afena has 2 stations. You want to make sure you've been waiting at the right one, or you're in for a bit of a hike. 2 stations? The waiter pulls out his ticket and reads it. Oh, how could he have been so daft? He was sure he followed the instructions given. The busker leans over to read the ticket. Sorry to be the bringer of bad news, but where's the other station? The waiter gets up and picks up his luggage. The busker laughs. Across the city. Besides, you really think your chauffeur is still waiting after all this time? A brief silence passes between them. The station exit is considerably quieter than it was. Tell you what, I'll take you to the Golden Willow. That's very generous of you, but are you sure? I didn't exactly factor a tour guide into my budget. The busker laughs again. It's a very honest laugh, scratchy and clear. It's on the way to me home anyway. Come on, let's get a move on. And so the waiter follows the stranger into the big city, trusting in his judgment of character. My friends, you don't need to follow me. You can sit where you are. And yes, I mentioned a tour guide in this tour. That's our first
just a
taste
little
of the
meta.
city. And a little peek at a surely returning character.
I don't really remember if it was mentioned. I don't know if it was mentioned before, but what time period would it be set in?
Time period?
Yeah.
You know what? I would like to leave you to imagine that as we go and see what comes to mind.
Alright.
Feel free to ask again after if
So
you're still not sure. Yes?
when you made a note, like, what was it? You actually were like questioning yourself, like, and then we maybe move to like the exit of the train station. Is that stuff like in your notes, or was that like you improvising like in between the lines? I'm actually just curious.
I write the script before I do the world, so stuff like where we move depends on the world that I make or end up with.
Oh.
So I try to keep it a little flexible in my notes and just be like, we're probably going to move at this point, but that'll get finalized once the world is made, and then that'll get reinterpreted back
Okay,
into the
so
script.
it was like actually, so that was like actually like in the script as like we're probably going to move.
It wasn't worded that way,
like
but
a
yes,
suggestion.
essentially.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was just wondering. I was just, curious.
Yeah. No, yeah, these are the kinds of questions you guys are more than welcome to ask. This is, like I said, the only time that we're going to share with you, like, everything behind the scenes that goes into a tour. Because all our other tours, they're just top secret start to finish. So make the most of it.
Ask as much. Open book.
If you want. Yeah?
What's this
I know,
music?
I'm not sure if I'll be able to be back later on.
Will this tour have library
What's
books?
this?
No worries. Thank you for coming.
I mean,
Probably. Whoever's leaving, thank you.
So.
Midnight. Yeah, so it will have loans. I didn't have them planned out because I only do that after everything else is finalized. Because there's no point making a loan and then the script isn't.
It happened again.
That wasn't just me.
Ooh,
Okay.
there's a full soundtrack.
We're all timed out.
It's too powerful.
The Treijim is dead.
Do we have to rejoin again? Yeah.
Dusty again?
No, let me think.
Uh-oh.
We timed out.
Raggy.
That was a joke, lads.
No, that should be fine.
No.
We just will. Wait, can you? Just no one touch the controls. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Well, that was interesting.
You know, when I'm getting
Take a seat. Everyone timed out.
reload of the world.
Take a seat, guys. Everyone timed out. It's all good.
Yep.
Return to your
Take your seats.
I think it was about here.
To my right, that's
I
someone
thought-
sitting in.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Did we're too powerful
Yeah,
to be
I'm
honest.
back.
Yeah, I thought it was
What even caused
Take your seats,
You're
guys.
so back.
She's
That's
the
the
first
first quest.
It's just.
First quest is to
knows
survive
being
the
back.
world.
The
No,
greater
first quest
forces.
is some way away actually.
Imagine if there was a tour that starts with a plane crash, and as soon as the plane crashes, well, so does everyone.
Your game crashes.
Yeah.
That's it, that's the tour.
Immersive. So immersive.
Sad ending. Crash.
VRT Sky.
Only one of you will survive. You have to figure out the tour from there. Good luck.
Zero.
You get no narrator.
So, okay, to save cycling through everybody, we're just going to leave the player controls unlocked. Please do not touch them. Thank you.
Play nice.
Be good travelers. We are.
Okay.
And we'll be able to see who isn't.
I think we're good to go. Now, what was the last thing I said?
Something
You
to
were
the
answering
Golden
a
Willow.
question about.
Okay. Okay, then it's probably fine. I'm going to move on to the next point in the story.
Yeah.
Some of these parts do have plenty of script. Some of these parts have no script, so we'll just... You'll just pick it up as we go.
Yeah. I do have one question from Dusty as we're loading up, though. How much of the tours are like hard scripted, like with actual lines, and how much of it is just improvised on the fly?
In my tours, 100% scripted. I'm not much of an improv guy. That's more Sheen's forte. He's good at it as well compared to me. So I like a script that gives me the security and the confidence that I need. Yeah, that's just how I do it.
Understandable.
Except for the off comments, you know. Actual tour itself, all scripted.
Of course.
Yeah. Although I think
sweet, thank you.
Once Mick Zealots left my mouth, I think I decided never to improv again.
Panda, I still remember the day you and I found Mick Zealots. McDonald's and the Prince.
Alright, take your seats, guys.
Okay.
Put the volume back up if you need to. Okay. So at this point, I need to describe the restaurant to you. Imagine an open-air restaurant. Quaint, Italian, by a canal. And a large golden green willow overhangs all the tables. It's evening, there are lanterns out, the sky is purple, and there's just a soothing murmur of a crowd. It's a nice restaurant, a little bit upper class, and the restaurant itself sits adjacent to the dining area. And you've got the booth, and you've got the bright, glowing, busy kitchen view visible. And then we have some script here. The sky is purple by the time the pair arrive. The Golden Willow is a beautiful restaurant. Nestled between a canal and an old watchtower, it glows warmly, dotted with lanterns that keep the night at bay. But there are a lot of tables, and he hasn't even seen the interior yet. This restaurant is much bigger than he had anticipated. Here we are then, the busker says. I hope you weren't meant to start your shift. Looks like they're starting to pack up. The waiter looks at him. How did you know I have a job here? Just a hunch. The busker pats him on the shoulder and walks away. My sister's gonna love this story, he says to himself as he walks away. What a gem. And then we have another voice that I wasn't set on, so apologies, it's going to be Rocky. You! The waiter jumps. A short, plump man is stomping toward him like a compact white storm cloud. You were meant to be here 4 hours ago! The waiter offers a smile. Yes, I apologize. I ended up at the wrong station, so I didn't ask for excuses! The chef pauses, twisting his mouth. The few remaining customers are looking at him, so he lowers his voice. It's too late to start your shift now. Go home and unpack your things or something. Come on tomorrow, on time. The chef places something down on a nearby table. Your grandfather isn't here right now, so he can't defend you, and don't even try that. And the chef storms back inside. The waiter can feel customers looking at him. Part of him wants to be upset. But the chef is right. He was late, and he made a mistake. But he had no idea his grandfather was away. Is he stuck working for this angry little chef until he returns? The waiter looks at what the chef had placed on the table. It's a key with a tag on it, and a dress. He picks it up, picks up his luggage, and leaves the Golden Willow. I forgot to loop the music.
Fair enough.
Now I prepare the next scene. I would have had fun with that guy's voice, I think.
I think so too.
You would have found something definitely fun.
All right. This song here.
I love the description of calling someone a compact storm cloud, lol.
I had fun with that one.
I mean...
Yeah.
And he's recurring, don't worry.
Oh,
Alright. And then we are inside his grandfather's apartment. It is a dusty old city apartment. It's dark, it's quiet. And then we have some script. His grandfather's apartment is dark, cramped, and dusty. The waiter closes the front door behind him and locks it, and the gentle sounds of the city at night are shut out. He thinks for a moment to call out in case his grandfather is home, but just not at the restaurant. But he thinks better. The upstairs room is locked, and the kitchen is small and dim. It doesn't seem like any food was left for him, so his stomach remains empty. The waiter notices a pillow and quilt on the sofa. Ah, big city luxury. He leaves his luggage in the living room, finds a candle to light, and changes into something more comfortable. The waiter sits on the sofa and stares at the little orange flame. This didn't quite go how I thought it would, he says to the candle. To be honest, I'm regretting this a little. Golden Willow is much larger than I thought. It's not going to be like the copper goat back home. And that chef. Perhaps he was just having a bad day. I shouldn't judge so soon. And he looks out of the bay window at the night sky and the crescent moon. Suppose I should get some sleep. Tomorrow will be better, right? He looks at the candle. It doesn't respond. He climbs beneath the quilt, blows the candle out, and with nobody to say goodnight to, he closes his eyes. That is the end of day one.
Yay.
Nice.
I have a question, Treijim.
Please ask.
Are there any secrets that we can influence or triggers that we can speak to affect on the first day?
No, the first day is just setting up the premise of everything. The first quest comes at the end of the second day. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 quests, but 3 of them are a repeated quest, so 2 unique quests, probably. Right, let me find this music.
Gotta be honest, this feels reminiscent of the lecturer with the day system.
Yeah, the day system makes a lot of sense when you see the plot develop. Almost essential, I think.
I agree.
All right.
Especially when over with something that's slower, like a waiter's. Oh, there goes Pimon.
Yeah, of course. No. He said lecturer, and he left. All right.
You cursed him, how could you?
Day 1 finishes with a fade out, and we fade back in the same apartment, but with the light of dawn. The next day, the waiter wakes up early as always, airs out the quilt on the balcony, and finds some old bread and cheese for breakfast. Events of the past day tumble back into his mind. He isn't used to having so much to worry about. The waiter decides to clear his mind with some fresh air, and he leaves the apartment to see what the big city is like during the early morning. Because of course the restaurant is an evening restaurant. But I don't say that in the script. And then we have some city to wander around. Again, lots of sort of Venetian type architecture, but with a bit more gardens and greenery and that kind of thing. And then we have a very important scene. The city is oblivious to his troubles. It doesn't care that he arrived at the wrong station. It doesn't care that he missed his first shift. It doesn't care that the chef of the Golden Willow dislikes him. And it doesn't care that his grandfather is away, or that every face he sees is unfamiliar. The waiter wanders through streets and alleys and finds himself overlooking a stretch of canal. He finds a bench to sit upon, and he ponders his situation. His mother had warned him about how rough it would be, about how the city is different from town life. Nobody has time for one another. Maybe she was right, he says to himself. Maybe this was a mistake. He awaits a response, a sign, but the city isn't different. A bell rings in the distance, clear and bright, and he looks up. White birds take off into the deep blue sky, a fresh breeze blows his hair, nearby children laugh. The waiter closes his eyes and takes a deep breath. He can afford to stay a while longer. He can afford to try. A door slams. He looks down across the canal. A young woman in a green dress is trying to hold it shut from the outside. After a moment she gives up and runs. The same door swings open and a rugged young man peers out but doesn't follow her. Looks like some sort of argument. I suppose I could have it worse, the waiter says to himself. Nobody to talk to means nobody to argue with. Despite the attempt to reassure himself, something about those words stings. Hurried footsteps steal his attention. He turns and catches sight of flowing green. Dramatic pause for music change. What is the flowing green? Take a moment to guess.
Money?
Money.
Money. Money. Money.
Money.
Leaves. Ah, for those who have been listening carefully,
Wasn't the
you
dress
have the
green?
answer. Yes.
No, I'm
Pack, you're a
I'm
genius.
obviously being ridiculous.
What did Pack figure out this time?
Man. It's a romance story. It's not going to be about cash.
Oh, but come on.
You're not in
The
love with
love of
money,
money,
Panda?
the loyal. Hello?
Let's go.
Cold hard cash, my beloved.
I'm sorry, I didn't realise that.
Call me Cash, because in the streets, I'm always...
God.
Gold or cash.
Mario gets Peach. Luigi gets Daisy. What is for you again?
Paid.
Okay. There stands the most beautiful woman the waiter has ever seen. For a moment, for just a moment, he cannot feel the bench beneath him, or the cool air, or his own body. He cannot hear the dogs bark or the children play. He can only feel the sun and see her face. And nothing else exists. Ah, I guess you saw that. Oh, are you alright? Oh, I'm fine. Just my brother thinking he knows what's right for me again. He gets loud, passionate, to use his wording. That's usually my cue to get out of the house. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. What? Oh, no, not at all. Can I help you in some way? She smiles and gives a dismissive wave. When she notices there's something in her hand, it's some sort of half-eaten bread bun. Oh, I walked out during breakfast, but I'm not hungry anymore. You can have it. I ate already, but thank you. I insist. Either it goes to you, or it goes into the canal. The waiter relents and takes a bite. The pastry melts as his tongue touches it, and it lightly crunches as his teeth close in. He tastes sugar, butter, lemon, cream, almonds, citrus, honey. He isn't even sure, but he doesn't want to swallow it. He doesn't want the flavor to end. This is the best thing I've ever tasted. She scoffs. Please, it's nothing special. It's a little stale anyway. I made it yesterday. You made this? You're amazing. Thank you. That's very kind of you. And she looks over her shoulder. I'm sorry, I need to go. You can have the rest of my breakfast. She offers a small wave and leaves the way she came. And just like that, she's gone. The waiter stands, breakfast in hand, and looks down the street. But he doesn't see the street. He sees her. Her green dress, her dark hair. He sees her, and his heart sings. And that's the end of that scene. That's right. This is a love story. Try not to think about what that means for the endings yet.
What?
He also managed to sneak the pastry chef in.
Neutral
Yes, I
ending,
did.
hard ending,
I
good
certainly
ending.
did. Yeah. Don't think about the endings, friends. Let's focus on the here and now.
Well, you just said imagine the endings, and there's don't imagine the endings. And it's like,
You're tempting us to imagine it.
What of it? Okay.
Yeah, it's normal.
All right. Next scene. By the way, am I going too fast, too slow? We're happy with the pacing? What do we think?
You're good.
Pretty good. Pretty
All
good.
good.
That said,
We're about a third of the way through my script. Oh, I know. I mean, inspired by Ghibli, I had to go all in on the food description. I had to.
It's good.
I did accidentally hit the button.
Okay.
Was good.
Next scene.
I like how when he described the most beautiful woman in front of him, there was a Sephiroth on the video.
The chairs are trapped.
Was it?
Sephiroth!
I mean, you know, it's 2023. Okay.
Okay.
Next scene. We are back at the apartment. Wait for the music to load. Okay. When the waiter returns to his grandfather's apartment, he sees a project, an untidy house that needs tidying, and he busies himself cleaning, because it wouldn't be a Ghibli tour without cleaning. However, though his body is occupied, his mind is elsewhere. He can only think about her. Is she married? Does she have a boyfriend? Does she even want a relationship? Does she own a bakery? Is it a family bakery? Does she enjoy life in the city? Would she want to move to the country? What does a baker think of a meager waiter? Would she appreciate them working in similar industries? Does she like dogs or cats? With all the windows of the apartment open, the wind carries all the dust outside. His mother had warned him that her father was married to his job, and that his residence would need cleaning and tidying. With the house airing, he starts work on the dishes. The sun reflects in hundreds of tiny iridescent bubbles. Was she even born in the city? Does she prefer red or white wine? What kind of music does she like? What sort of food would she want at her wedding? The waiter catches himself and laughs aloud. What a fool! You don't even know her. He stares at the shining bubbles. And yet... After he finishes the dishes, he dries his hands and checks the time. It's not needed at the Golden Willow for another hour. He checks his uniform, hanging up nearby, and makes sure everything is neat and straight. Something catches his attention. On the next hook is a twisted gathering of what look to be tires. He pulls them off and untangles them one by one. Most of them are very old, but one stands out. It's a waiter's tie, made of amber satin, like the ones from the Golden Willow, but this one has a pin in it. He removes it and holds it up. The sun dazzles off a little silver flower. Judging by the dust, it hasn't been used in a long time. The waiter cleans it and pins it to the breast of his own work vest. I'm sure he won't mind. My friends, the time has come for the waiter to attend his first shift. Follow me. Slash me runs away.
Yeah! Woo!
Truly wonderful.
Right.
This cues us running to the area you're going to, trying to beat you.
Yes.
Trying to beat me, yes. Until I invented the thing of turning on switches so you can't wear them. Alright.
That won't stop us from speedrunning to areas.
First minigame. Let's see. I need this music.
You need 3 volunteers. Or 2 volunteers. And
2 NPCs as always.
Okay. Yay, 2 NPCs. I volunteered.
Alright. Actually, I just thought about it. Would there have been volunteers?
Imagine. NPC news.
There were NPCs planned for this quest, yeah. Alright, a little bit of narration before the quest. The waiter arrives to work early. It's early evening, the sun is still up, though it struggles to be seen over the surrounding rooftops, and the Golden Willow is setting up the dining spaces. He enters through the back door. The air is thick, with various mouth-watering odors. The chef is quick to spot him. "You're here," the chef says, and he pauses as though his statement requires an explanation. He spots the silver pin, narrows his eyes a little, and continues. "You'll be serving indoors tonight. I need to keep an eye on you, and I don't want any passerbys to see the new employees. See that table over there? Set the others up the same way, then we start." That's old dialogue. I decided it was all outdoor restaurant, so some of this script is doesn't make much sense with the rest of it.
You need a little refreshing.
Yeah, thank
Just a
you.
little bit.
But
I guess
that's
this
work
must be a
in
matching
progress.
Work in progress? I'm afraid not.
Well, it's at work now.
Previously work in progress.
It's
in progress.
It's a progressed work. Okay, and then we have...
Let's go.
The first quest. Okay. No narration here. This is what I had in mind for quests. Goes and checks notes I haven't read in here. So, given that the main character is a waiter, the minigame would of course involve waiting. Now, a big struggle I had was, are the NPCs the customers or the waiters? Because the NPCs usually are a competitive force, and the travelers represent the protagonists, but it doesn't make much sense for 30 people to be waitstaff for 2 customers. So this one was a pretty big challenge for me. But a lot of the ideas I came up with involved things like reading notes. So I thought of several tables, 6 to 8, travelers split into groups 4 to 5, and there is one waiter, also a traveler, per group. So the key there is that there's no NPCs yet, because I realized, wait, the NPCs can represent a different force, and the travelers can be the customers and the waiters. So each group has a score. The waiters start at the kitchen counter, and when the timer starts, the waiter has to go to the group, open the menu for them, and the group needs to pick the menus. Now these menus would have, of course, delicious looking food, and the menu will change from tour to tour. I would set up either something seasonal or something random. I never decided, but the menus were always different, so you had to think about what they were. Now, you may be wondering, where do the NPCs come into this? The NPCs are the kitchen, because the kitchen is the force that is out of the waiter's hands and out of the customer's hands, but it is essential for the waitstaff. So it would have been something like, there are timed rounds. The group has to, each waiter has to go to their group, open the menu for them, take their orders, and then the NPC, the waiter, has to go to the kitchen and deliver that. And maybe there would have been some ways to do decoys or sabotages, or the kitchen doesn't have enough ingredients for this dish. And essentially, the NPCs are trying to make the waiting job a little bit difficult for the waitstaff. And it's the job of the waitstaff to try and get the best score for their table. And it's the job of the customers to just, I guess, roleplay good customers. Be a little bit agreeable, be a little bit picky, whatever they think is going to make it more fun.
Sweet.
And then there was some sort of way to gauge the performance of each table, and maybe a certain number of tables need to get a certain number of points. Maybe we just, depends what table gets it, I'm not sure. So those are kinds of the ideas I had for the quest, and there would be 3 waiting quests for each tour. So it wouldn't have been that long, maybe 15 minutes or so. Sorry?
It was just something I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I was just making like a comment.
Oh, sure. And I thought there had to be some other things, like maybe you can't eat a meal that's not yours. Maybe you lose points for delivering the wrong dish to the kitchen because they had to memorize the orders all the time. You know, all this kind of stuff. That was the ideas I had for the main quest that would be repeated on this, and the variation and the speed of this quest was pretty important, because doing the same quest 3 times in a tour, you don't want it to drag on, because it would just make the tour too long and tedious.
I feel monotonous.
So that would have been the main minigame.
I like the idea of kind of turning it on its head and having the majority group kind of play the NPCs all together. I kind of like that. It actually reminds me of oh gosh, we just did the tour, the forest where we had to collect the wood and the berries. The Duke's
Yeah,
Well.
that's the prince.
Yeah, the Duke's Well and the Prince.
Yeah.
I guess with
I
this,
do like that. Sorry, go ahead, Tusi.
but like, I guess with the mini game, would you have wanted it to be more of like a kind of like everyone trying to be professional, or very high energy, kind of like quick high energy?
Honestly, that would probably change from group to group, and that would depend on who's actually in the group. I don't mind, as long as the minigame is done properly from a back-end point of view, and I can actually figure out what the final points were. That's all that really matters, and it doesn't take up too much time as well.
I'd want the NPCs to be yelling like Gordon Ramsay at all the waiters.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Where's the lamb sauce? Oh, that would have gotten yelled so often.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
Just a bunch of pre-recorded lines or something.
Alright.
You more pumpkin.
Friends, I'll be back in just a moment.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, no worries. Oh goodness, the soundboarders in the group would have had a ball with that.
You mean that one over there?
They would have had all the Gordon Ramsay clips just
God, I wish I had the
soundboarded.
Hell's Kitchen thing right now.
Wake up! Yes, chef, wake up! You, what are you doing?
Wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up. Wake up.
Come here, donkeys, here you go. What is that? What is that?
Fun times here.
So what's just?
But I was thinking like Dr. Eggman, just like he takes like a bite of the salad and like the soup. He's like, the soup is cold and the salad is hot.
The salad is hot.
Impossible.
Hey, I'd like.
Yes.
When the soup is cold and the salad's hot.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Too. I'm glad you did the Red Sun one.
Yeah. You know, you just blend
When the
it,
soup
don't
is
you?
cold
Or you
and
just
the
put
salad
it in
is
a
hot.
soup pot?
I can
It makes
only
you
eat
go,
soups.
wait,
I
what
see
the-
that, you know, I see that you have some like really good. Your spaghetti is like on special today, but like I really need it as a soup. Thank you.
It's like, yes.
Okay, I found it. Let me make sure it's not too loud first. Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
Today's special is
Perfect.
everything is
Beautiful.
sweet. Just get the blender,
Bing bong.
just mash it,
Oh goodness sakes.
grate it,
Welcome back,
cut it up,
Treijim.
dice
Okay.
it into tiny pieces. Soup.
Yeah, that would have been a really fun quest.
You just need all the reality TV sound effects.
Certainly. So, also, another idea I had for that quest, I probably would have had asked Patreons to submit dish ideas as well, so that would have been like a point of contribution for that.
Chili chungas. We have the bar now, and now we have the restaurant.
Kitchen in the Ronde too?
Yes.
Oh yeah, the McSellets, the sad meal, the 10 piece.
God.
It would have been better for the people who actually work as wait staff.
I'm going to blacklist that word, I swear. I swear to Abel.
What's up?
Okay, let's continue.
We have a menu already.
So, after the quest, there is a little bit of dialogue between the chef and the waiter. The chef makes his presence known with a loud, "Well, you're done for the night." And he hones in on the waiter. "How'd you find your first night?" The waiter wipes, I wrote wipes swipe, that's meant to say wipes sweat from his brow. "It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be." Is that so? The chef glances around and lowers his voice. I actually got a couple customers who said they were impressed with the new kid. But don't let your head get big. I gotta tell you this as your boss. Doesn't mean they're right. The waiter smiles. He begins to see how this man does things. Oh, thank you. Say, you want to come in early tomorrow? Early? For something in particular? Kid, it's a yes or no question. Yes, I can come in early. Good. And the chef waddles away. Waddle, waddle. The waiter heads home. Perhaps this wasn't a mistake after all. And that is the end of day 2.
This chef kind of reminds me of a character from another a game I play, Linsgath, the culinarian head chef. Yeah, he's harsh and brusque, but like all in all, he just cares about his people and wants them to succeed. That's why he holds them to such exacting standards.
It does sound reminiscent.
But I'm thinking of when I'm thinking of like chefs. All I can picture is just Mung Dal from Chowder.
I don't know who that is, but it sounds fun.
MG32.
Oh, you don't know Chowder? No.
You know who I pictured after writing this? If you've seen Spirited Away, the little guy who, like the little round guy who's in like the first, I don't know, 2/3 of the movie, who bosses Chihiro around a lot. That's who I picture. Yeah.
Good to know.
Okay. There's a second quest coming up, guys. Let's change the music. So, day 2 ends, day 3 begins, and then we've got day 5, which is brief, and then 8, 9, and 10. We are halfway through.
Oh.
Flashbang.
Flashbang.
So.
Think fast, circle nuts.
Don't forget for the pin first. Stupid.
There we go. Day 3.
Kitchen equivalent of flashbang.
Flash furnace. Day 3 begins in the city marketplace, or a marketplace. So picture stalls, lots of wares, lots of activity, lots of colour and sound, and a beautiful sunny day. The busyness of the city marketplace rivals even the train station. The waiter is in awe. Stalls of madder and sherry and woad flap in the light breeze, which carries the sounds of haggling and music. The scents of pastries and seafood and candy waft amidst the crowds. Chickens flap in cages, cartwheels clatter against cobblestones, and hammering gavels declare their opening and closing of auctions. All this beneath a deep blue sky and a beaming sun. The waiter woke up early, just in case. What if she goes out for morning walks as well? He can't allow himself to miss such an opportunity. After a moment of daydreaming, he prepares for the task at hand. Now, the second minigame in this tour, this is not a waiting minigame. This is, let me find my notes.
You see, the story we don't see behind the scenes is the story of the Night Guard.
The what?
The Night Guard.
The Night Guard.
What's that?
A night at the museum. I see.
No.
Oh.
It's a nap.
Perhaps like
No,
Mall Cop,
no.
but the VRTravellers version.
All blark.
The guys at the working at a restaurant. Someone needs to guard the place at night.
Museum for the night.
Yeah. And
Okay.
turn him into an exhibit. Yep.
Exactly.
Come.
Alright, so what I had for this is a market minigame. And there's only one of these per tour. Unlike the waiting one. So, what there are is there's the travelers, who represent the waiter, and there are the two NPCs who represent rival cooks from rival restaurants. Now, there are food categories. and the travelers split into as many groups as there are food categories. So, proteins and greens and sweets or something, I hadn't decided. And then there is a timed round. Every timed round, that corresponding food group of travelers and both NPCs enter the market looking for the best deal. The deals will be randomly generated, and there might be decoys as well. And before the timer ends, the goal is for the travelers to find the best deal and bring it back before the rival cooks do. The rivals get a head start, and they do not see the decoys, so they have an advantage because they do not have the advantage of numbers. So basically, there's a little bit of, I guess, on-your-head research, maybe a little bit of math involved. And then the next food category comes along, and again, that group has to find the best deal for that, and so on. And then you count up how many traveler wins versus how many cook wins, rival cook wins. That's basically the idea I had for the first quest. It was a very rough idea, not even sure how it would have affected the story at that stage. I was really just trying to come up with what's something that people can do that's thematic, that works with the current system of two NPCs and travelers and that kind of thing. So that was the marketplace minigame. Jonathan? Okay. Now, the plot thickens because something else happens in the market after the minigame. A familiar voice catches the waiter's attention. "Hi, brother. You're still in one piece." The busker from the train station has just finished playing, and his busking friend continues to play. The waiter is warmed to see such a friendly face. "Thanks to you, I owe you one." "Hey, I already told you not to worry about that." The busker gives him a hearty slap on the shoulder. The waiter almost drops his goods. Then the busker's friend turns their way, and everything stops. It's her. It's the girl from the canal, the baker in the green skirt. She's here right now. She's the busker's sister? The waiter gives a small wave and a smile, and she smiles back. The busker notices. She can bake and play an instrument. All the waiter can do is carry trays. "It's hard to catch a good crowd these days," the busker says. "The train station and market are good, but they get quiet later in the day." The waiter thinks. He must come up with a way to see her again. "I have an idea," says the waiter. "You won't let me repay you, so at least let me extend an offer. Come and play at the Golden Willow tonight. My grandfather owns it. I'm sure he would love music for his customers." The busker's face lengthens. "The Golden Willow? Us?" He turns between the waiter and his own sister. "You sure it'll be alright? We don't exactly polish up the way your lot does." He gestures to the waiter's pristine uniform and then to himself and his sister dressed in a mismatched patchy garb. "No, she looks you look... Well, what I mean to say is you both look fine. I'll see you tonight." The waiter gives a small wave and a quick smile and hurries away, his heart racing. "You did it," he says to himself. "You did it." What a bumbler. Let's go to the next scene.
What a dork.
Absolute nerd. We love it.
Alright. Which song is it? This one. This one plays a lot.
Oh, we gotta pause. I wanted,
Yeah,
I wanted
flashbang
to
is,
say
a
again.
flashbang is one thing, but I think a reverse flashbang is scarier.
Sure. Let's go,
It's just darkness and you don't hear anything.
Plunged into the void.
Black and darkness. Ether?
I just wanted to say.
I think she had something to do.
Paused.
I just wanted to say thank you for showing us
I'm
this.
not so sure
I'm having a great time as if we were on tour
Of
anyway.
course.
It's great.
I wouldn't be able to live with myself if this story just sat there never seeing the light of day.
Aw.
I had to share what I had.
We did all this work, so...
Okay. Everything good upstairs? You guys alright?
Oh.
I can't see what you're doing. There's just silhouette on black. But, okay.
It's so
fantastic.
dark.
Like, you two are like so far up here. Can you like hear
Black and
anything
darkness.
over here, Treijim?
Okay.
I can hear you.
So, we are back now at the restaurant. About an hour before the start of his shift. So just as it's coming up on evening. When the waiter tells the chef at the start of his shift what he had arranged, it doesn't seem to register. The chef dismisses the young man and goes about barking orders in the kitchen. So the waiter begins his shift. After an hour or so, as the waiter wipes down a table, he hears a voice call out. Aye! The busker and baker are there, carrying a violin and guitar respectively. The waiter bows to the brother and takes the sister's hand, offering a small kiss on the back of it. Lovely to see you both. The busker laughs. What a charmer! And you were right. Doesn't matter how rich and fancy the listener, music is a mysterious thing. And he turns his attention to the patrons seated outside. Are you lot ready for some fun? And for a moment the waiter regrets extending this invitation. The patrons here are a different class to the siblings. He can read their faces. They're put off. This was a mistake.
Ooh.
And then...
Please don't one of the song buffers.
Got to find the music.
Chair trap.
Oh no, I'm genuinely invested. I really want to know what happens next.
Yes.
And then, this is what happens next.
Died. The end.
And then they start playing. Kindly let me borrow your hearts, the busker says as he dances between tables. Let the music carry your worries away. Let your spirit stir. The waiter witnesses a change. Shining black shoes tap the ground. Fingers tap tables. Heads nod and smiles spread. At one point, the waiter sees something extraordinary upon taking plates back to the kitchen. The chef is arm in arm with another cook dancing, and the music carries on into the night.
That's in the first half, not even gonna lie.
Take a moment to dance, my friends. I need to find more music. I would need more... I would have needed more narration for this part, because it would have been a short.
I'll dance my best in my chair.
Honestly, I thought the chef was gonna be pissed or something.
He'll
No,
be
the
pissed
chef is not
afterwards.
heartless. He'll be pissed afterwards, exactly. Just to keep up impressions, appearances. Alright.
Ow, I danced so hard
Which
it
one's the
fell.
solo version?
Oh man, come on, man.
Man, if
We're not
you
going
didn't find a
anywhere.
way to hurt yourself in this tour where we literally don't move anywhere, I would have been very surprised. It's quite literally just sit and be comfortable. cliffs of coffee
Dance
sauce.
and I dance.
Trucks in the
Unfortunately, I dance next to the cliff.
You have two left
L-man stands for two left feet, man.
Please keep your arms and see.
It's L-man. He'd find a way
Stands
to
for hold
injure
this
himself
L,
by
man.
breathing too hard.
This point feels like I'm gonna have Captain's hand to sit on me to keep me still.
It's this. It's this. Okay. I will
That's
arrange
totally
that.
possible.
Don't think
Just
I won't
existing
arrange
is
that.
already painful enough.
Fucking L-man needs to be caught, just kept in a bubble at this point.
Deploy the immobility kitten.
I can't even say that, knowing L-man. He'll find a way to hurt himself with the bubble.
Yeah, true.
I'll just pop in midair.
We should have a tally in the Discord for how many times Elman hurts himself.
Yes.
More than one.
Yeah, at least more than one. Well,
Alright.
at least
Over 9,000.
Once per town. Yeah.
Once per tour or 10 times per tour?
Once per tour, at least.
Let's continue.
And before you do, I'm
So-
friends, I have to go. I'm quite tired. You all have a good one.
Oh, okay.
Good night.
Catch your
Have a good night, Ragnos. Thanks for coming.
Take care.
Yes, it was good seeing you, friend.
Peace. Bye-bye.
Alright. Here's what happens next. It's nearing closing time. The waiter is given the last hour of his shift off, and he spends it sitting with the baker at an empty table in the near-empty restaurant by the canal. The baker plays softly. Her brother, the busker, has gone home. I envy you, she says after a silence. Envy me? The waiter isn't sure he heard that correctly. Why? Because. She looks down at her fingerwork, a gentle smile lingering. People look down on people like us, buskers and waiters, and I let it show. Someone turns away when I play, or stare their children the other way, or put a hand over their ears, and it cuts. It cuts deep. But you've chosen to serve, and you do it so well. You listen to every customer. You read them too. You really understand people. You make them feel like everything is fine. You make them feel comfortable, like I envy your confidence. Thank you. He wants to give her all the reasons that she's wrong. But he looks at her. Her gaze is low, shifting slightly from side to side. Her fingers hesitant, but her pose not quite as relaxed as before. Is something wrong? I know what you're thinking, the baker says suddenly, her eyes now locked onto him. Her look is fierce. I don't even like baking. Someone had to learn to feed my brother and I, and, well, you know how he is. I only want to play. That's what I want to do. Usually, when one declares their dream aloud, one displays an emboldening of the spirit, but the waiter senses something else. This declaration was painful to make. She glances to the side toward the canal shining in the moonlight, and she stops playing. I'm going to the music academy in Edrefana. I'm leaving in a week. It's getting late. I should go.
Oh.
And she does. Good night. Please, come back and play sometime. He smiles. But the smile is not real. That night, sleep does not come to him until the bluebirds sing their morning song. Oh,
Dang,
indeed.
man, pulling all night.
That is the end of day 3.
Ouch.
That's right. We skip day 4 entirely. Day 5 begins, and I need to find the music.
And
Someone's playing a clicker game over
Monkey, I
there.
think you might sound.
G Monkey, click,
My bad.
click, click, clickety clack.
I
Getting the
would have joked
sack.
You
that J
don't call
Monkey
him
was practicing
Click Monkey for
Smash.
nothing.
Is this what made the timeline so important? Is it because she leaves in a week?
Alright.
Is he trying to Smash Brothers?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Oh, you're fine.
Time sensitive.
No worries.
Would the day be skipped
No,
in the actual
this is very
tour as
casual.
well?
I'm digging the clicking.
Just for that, Jay, I'm
Yeah,
giving you the bad
it takes the whole weekend to go through this tour.
Yeah, clickety clack.
You gotta skip a couple days to cram it in.
Click.
Okay,
Clickety,
so
clack, clack, clickety.
It's a 3-hour
Neutral
Clack,
ending.
look at waiter go.
Okay,
Ugh.
neutral ending. She
I do have some others
goes.
I need to see today. So
Bad
hate to
ending.
jump.
She goes
I
and
want to hear the ending, but
man's
I'll see
cocked
it. I have
up.
to see the ending.
Good ending.
What's that, Panda?
She gives up on going. I can smell. I can
You got
smell the
guesses? Go
endings
on.
from here. I
Go
can
on, go
smell
on.
the endings from here.
Go on, yeah, what you
He's
got?
thinking about the endings after you told him not to.
Yeah. Good endings. She gives up on going to the music place, music academy, to spend the rest
Good
of their
ending, she
lives
gives up
together.
on that, okay.
In the
Yeah,
good
so-
ending, she gives up on her dreams. That'd be
Okay.
cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Uh-huh.
Give up on your
That kind of seems like a bitter.
In the neutral ending, she gets
Not
hit by a
bittersweet, but
car.
You go through good and bad because
Oh
you're
my
telling
God,
because
no!
he eventually gets with her, but she gives up on her dream.
Yes, exactly. Alright, well, you will find out.
The
You
moral
will
of
find
the
out.
story, give up.
Stay tuned. The moral of the story? Just don't fall in love, guys. Simple. Okay.
Too
This
late.
ambience
Telling
is
that all of
actually
us,
really
really?
quiet. I can barely hear it, but I won't. It's only restaurant ambience. Okay. We start day 5, and we join the waiter. So that was the end of day 3. Day 4 we skipped, and now we're at the end of day 5. The waiter is most of the way into his shift. He has spent all his time either at the Golden Willow or at home. Neither of the musicians have been back to play. The apartment has slipped back into a state of disarray. The waiter's compliments have been surface level. His smile's a facade. He has done his job. No more, no less.
It's not even that. It's just
The chef had asked him
person, the
yesterday
people that
if the
play it.
waiter would get his... Oh, hello, robotic. The chef had asked him yesterday if the waiter would get his musician friends back. They were great for business. I'll see, the waiter replied. And he hasn't. The waiter, head down, approaches a new table with one with his notepad at the ready. Welcome to the Golden Willow. What can we get for you this evening? I could use an ear to listen. The waiter looks up. The baker sits there, smiling sheepishly. Oh, of course. Though I don't think the head chef will let me finish early. I'm sorry, do you mind waiting 15 minutes? I'm so sorry. She nods. I'll wait. 20 minutes later. The Golden Willow is closed. The lanterns have been extinguished and everyone has gone home. Everyone save the waiter and baker. Sitting at a small table at the canal's edge, the only light a shared candle. I'm sorry, she says after a silence. I wasn't sure where else to find you. I haven't seen you at the market or anywhere else. Ah, I've been working. Right. Can I tell you something? The waiter's heart flutters. Is this a confession? Is it more devastating news? Of course. What is it? Dramatic pause. I'm finding music.
The all-important dramatic pause.
Would have completely killed all of us if you were like, and that's all I had so far.
Yeah.
I might have actually murdered him.
Right, where is this one? What? Okay, I don't know where this song is. Hang on. I'll have another look. Let's try looking up this. Anyone got any guesses as to what she's going to say?
My first guess, she's
stuck a
not
pipe bomb
going
in his
anymore.
mailbox.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the imposter.
Equal your genius.
I have a boyfriend.
She's gonna say a sleeper activation
Really
code.
heartbreak. My husband says so. No.
She's going to say, we have to get in our mix.
Goodness gracious.
The accident was 5 years ago.
You have to wake up.
This is a tour.
Sleeper activation code 1322 Sierra Delta Tango Niner
I'm a
8.
fictional character written by Treijim.
Getting the robots from Treijim.
What kind of name is Treijim?
Who the hell is
A good one. A friendly one.
Sounds like my balls.
One that feels safe.
Alistair? What?
He reaches across the
I
table,
love it when I hear Alistair
grabs his
say some
hands,
shit.
and looks him in the eyes, and she whispers,
cornbread?
You must finish the painter too.
Dear Lord.
Damn. It's like you're reading my script.
Looks deep into his eyes. I am the
I have a guess
hamburger.
what she's gonna say. Wanna go hang out with zealots?
Want to break from the ice?
I'm sorry for not telling I cannot find this music for the life of me.
Pregnant. Treijim, remember when I made that announcement that YouTube constantly
grabs
deletes
his
music
hand,
I chose
looks
for
him in
the
the
painter
eyes.
too?
You're pregnant.
This may have what happened to you.
I don't think it's deleted. I just think my notes are bad.
I think I have to make sure I didn't make
Just sing it
This is
yourself.
what happens when you save your music on YouTube, because YouTube likes to just delete music.
It's fine.
Right?
This works with no music anyway. Okay, so imagine this. Imagine this. So they're both sitting at the table. It's nighttime. There's moonlight on the canal. There's a single candle. And it's just the two of them. The music is gentle piano music. That's all. The Edrifon Music Academy is the best in the entire Confederation. My old music teacher put in a letter of recommendation for me, and I've been offered a place there. A chance to go and learn from the masters. A chance to become a famous musician and do what I truly love. But the truth is, I don't want to move. Well, I do, but I'm scared. I'm not good enough. Someone's going to notice I don't belong there. I think you're an amazing musician, the waiter offers. You play with so much care. The baker looks away. Remember the other night when I said I envy your confidence? I watched you work. You're always paying attention, always serving, always genuine. When I play, my head is like... It's like a big ball of tangled weeds. I'm always one tiny slip away from failing. She gestures with her hands, bringing the image to life. I can't stand it. And she looks at him. She looks at him as though he has the answers. She looks at him as though somehow she has tried everything in the world and now it all depends on what he says next. The waiter thinks. He doesn't want her to go. He likes her. A lot. He wants to keep seeing her as much as possible. But to tell her to stay? That would be selfish. His mother had warned him not to ask for too much. Thank you, he says, for sharing how you feel. I think if it were me, I would perhaps try smaller steps. Maybe there's a smaller academy nearby, or local tutors you can learn from to improve your musicianship or something. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Her gaze lingers on him before looking away. Smaller steps, she repeats. Barely audible. Right. Maybe I'm rushing things. It's up to you, the waiter quickly interjects. He doesn't want to convince her not to take this opportunity. And yet, if she were to decide to stay... She sits up suddenly and looks around at the dark streets. I should go. I'm sorry, I'm keeping you. No, it's quite all right. I enjoy talking with you, however brief our conversations are. She stands, pauses, smiles, and says goodnight before walking away into shadow. And the waiter goes home, with knots in his heart.
Ow.
My friends, at this point in the story, we have a designated break. Have a snack, rehydrate, and use the restrooms if you need to. Please be back here for the story to continue within 5 minutes. That's where the break would have been, halfway through, but we are 2/3 of the way through the script because the script is fairly start-heavy. We have less toward the end.
My hand.
Sad munching sounds.
Well,
Sad munching sounds.
No soup break.
I don't understand it. This is the hand that's always not worked correctly for some reason.
No soup.
I wonder if I think it's multi-controller.
If you tell them team support, they support working like
So we
after
are
just
having a
like,
break.
so quickly after you just bought
Heartbroken munching.
Yeah.
So
Have a break.
Oh, okay, alright, sure.
Okay, spawn the thing!
Perfect.
Take a break.
It's always that finger though.
Get some more popcorn.
Like,
Can we get a pastry,
my ring
a
finger.
breakfast roll?
Let's go. I gotta put the headset on right now. I sped run
Ethan.
this on.
Oh, never mind.
You're doing good.
I can
I love
take
this
like
so
an
far.
anti-static cloth and clean it and do like
I love you
everything
so far.
proper to try and get this hand to work right, and it will not go correctly for some reason.
You're telling us not to get too
There's a
attached to
laser
things
on
and
the
then proceeding to do the complete opposite.
Maybe. I've tried to do the drumming and everything, and it just
Alright. This...
No.
it's just I don't know. It like once the controller's like right there. Once I hold my controller for long enough and it heats up enough, it just.
Are you giving us a few minutes, Treijim? Do I have
Like-
time to?
Yeah, take a few minutes.
Like no, it won't.
Okay, I'll be
It's
back in
being
about
recorded.
2
Yeah, I'm
minutes.
pretty sure it's
Like
being
I have to
recorded.
hold
Check.
my hand
Keep
and then
recording.
let go of it,
I'm
and then
making
it
some
unfeeds
crispy
itself,
ether
and it just
memento.
works.
We need new controllers. Anyway.
Mr. Techno.
Crispy.
It's like the only other.
Are you recording?
Well,
Extra
I'm shooting a-
crispy.
Yeah.
Okay, extra crispy it is.
They're not-
Controllers.
They're not quite done
Like
yet.
fingers.
Fantastic. Not a problem. Is anyone else recording? Out of curiosity.
I'm recording.
I'm recording with my
Who is
brain.
recording?
2C, you're recording? Fantastic.
I'm recording with my brain.
Thank you.
Because it indexes
That's-
when you got the repair.
How good is your brain as a recorder?
Yeah.
That's not what I was asking.
That's
I've
a
just
good
gotten
question.
this
I'm glad
one,
you're paying
so
attention, but no one else can
anything
watch that.
breaks, I can always send back right away and just be like,
Well,
Not yet.
Probably people from the future, if they find a way to text to look into
Maybe this is a lot more exclusive than I originally intended.
Your warranty doesn't run out.
Apparently,
Yeah.
Treijim just wanted to share with us.
You said
a
most of the
story
other
that
tours are in
was
super
never
secrecy,
complete.
so unintentionally this is also super secrecy.
They know. They know.
Everybody knows.
I didn't. I'm joking, I did. There we go, now I can... Am I like flashbanging
Yeah, you
everybody,
see,
by
but
the
did
way?
you point
or
at me?
no? This thing.
Oh, you didn't. I forget. It's like.
Oh, yeah, there's some people who are very right.
You look over here.
These
Yeah,
two
this
are
one,
just-
this is like a...
I
This
did
is
look
a
over here because I wanted to see who's still here.
Treijim needed to retire, Byron.
I would love to see a recording of this.
In
the chat.
But basically, he ran out of time for life things.
Oh, my neck hurts. I'm wearing this headset for a while now. I had like multiple. I went to a
Right.
ball.
Was it with the group that I'm thinking of?
Which one?
Is it the I just got I have to like list.
Oh, this tour?
listen.
This is the
I
one
don't
I was
know, it's
working
the
on
Disney
when I
people,
announced my retirement.
is what
Yeah.
my guess
Yeah,
is.
Disney people. Then I also got to see.
Indeed, it is.
I only spent there like 5 minutes. I got to listen to my friend sing. It was cool.
Oh, that's neat. Is it the friend that I met, or is it a different one?
Yes, she sang. Ooh,
Yeah,
she
that
also
makes
got
sense.
to-
Her voice is fucking spectacular.
Yeah.
Okay. Is anybody not here?
Oh, we're starting again?
Yeah, I think they're waiting on us.
Does anybody look like they're AFK?
I can see a few.
Looks like Kitty's AFK.
Man is as well.
Come back, guys. There you are.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Treijim, Byron has a question.
Yeah,
behind you.
Sorry. Yes, Shane, will the appraiser return? Shane, Byron is asking if the appraiser will return. Is he on his break? Or is he just avoiding
I think he is.
PTSD?
I think Sheen should do the appraiser too, and it should be 8 hours long.
If I was Sheen, I would also avoid that question. It is Sheen's turn. The appraiser is unique, but it's a lot of energy to run. So I do not blame him for not doing it very often. It's like the whimsy of this tour cranked up to 100 over 3+ hours.
It's nice.
Your appraiser was really nice. Oh, damn it. Hello.
I have a more generalized question for travelers' stories in general.
I saw the appraiser with Chloe around.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could a woodchuck chuck if woodchuck chuck wood?
Could chuck wood. Yeah, that's a valid question.
What about me?
That I remember, I have a lot of memories of seeing you for the first time.
Why are characters never refereed to by name in these stories, and instead by a role or job?
That's a very good question. Weekly schedule function.
Pizza.
It's changed a lot over time, to be honest. Normally, the thing we did most was I did a tour, then Sheen did a tour the next weekend, and we just toggle back and forth. And travelers were usually trying to solve 2 tours at a time, just alternating week to week. That's obviously not something we can do now, and hasn't been done for a while, though. There was a time when we did multiple tours randomly throughout the week, but those days are long gone. That was COVID days.
Dark in the chairs.
Sorry, Smiles, I forgot your question. Can someone repeat it?
Why
There, that's
why
it, yeah.
no names, only titles? Like, why
Oh,
why don't he call the characters like Steve or Bob?
welcome back.
Or Mr.
The real
Clarence?
question, Smiles, this is something I won't answer now because it's too deep, but I will tell you this. You're asking the wrong question. The question is not why are no characters named. The question is why are only Abel and Sophia named? That's the question. Okay, let's get back into it.
Interesting.
Interesting. So, the story's gone a little bit dark. It's going to pick up. This is a pickup moment. This is one of my favorite parts. Day 8. So, we just finished day 5. So 2 days just went by. Loading now. Wait, that doesn't look like the right video. What the heck is this?
What the
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulty this. Loading. Need to pause it. There we go. Okay, I paused it, don't worry. 3 days later, the waiter is awoken mid-morning, by something out of the ordinary. A crash coming from inside the house. The waiter sits up, fearing a burglar, and sees the front door wide open. "Where's my good shoes?" comes a familiar voice from upstairs. There's stomping. An elderly gentleman descends the staircase. He stops when he sees the waiter awake. The two look at one another. "Where are my good shoes?" The waiter laughs. "Not even a good morning, or I'm home now." The grandfather wipes his moustache and sniffs. "You've been moving my things around, I see. I don't recall giving you permission." "This place was filthy, Grandpa. I did some cleaning." "Cleaning?" The grandfather stomps the rest of the way to the ground floor. "I see. And where did you clean my good shoes off to?" "All your shoes are by the door." The grandfather looks down at the shoes neatly lined up beside him and wipes his moustache again. "So they are." He looks up, and his face bananas into a wide smile. "Good morning, I'm home." Not 5 minutes later, and the two of them are sharing coffee in the kitchen. Everyone loves Grandpa. "But the trains were delayed again, I tell you. They used to run on time every time. Not a train was late when I was your age. Afraid to Fashora, Kolumor to Hradia, didn't matter." Anyway, how's your mother holding up?" "She's fine. I sent her a letter yesterday." "And I hope my head chef isn't working you too hard. I think he was a slaver in a past life." "It was a little rocky to begin with, but we get along just fine now." The grandfather wipes his moustache this time to clear it of milk froth. "Everything all right with you?" The waiter tries to hide his surprise. His grandfather was always shrewd. He wouldn't have been able to hide anything from him for long. "I'm just adjusting to city life. It's very different," he lies. And the two talk the morning away. Afterwards, the grandson shows his grandfather where he moved everything, and then it's time for them to go to work. The waiter enjoys making the walk with company, for a change. That's Grandpa.
I like Grandpa.
Yeah, Gramps.
I love Grandpa.
Much more talkative than the previous Grandpa.
Yeah, I was thinking, are they related?
Gramps and Grandpa? How
Yeah.
dare you? Think all old people the same?
No, I think maybe he's another reincarnation. Oh, maybe actually, yeah, maybe all old people are the same.
Waiter's grandpa secretly named Treijim?
Maybe reincarnation is a central theme pack? That's crazy.
Yeah, that'd be crazy, huh?
Did you
In
have
my
any
VR
ideas,
Travelers?
like, a
That's
specific
completely
that he would
buck
call
wild. I
grandpa,
don't know what
or
you're
would it be
talking
just
about.
grandpa?
Timey-wimey bullshit in my VR,
I
you
have
couldn't
grandpa for
imagine it.
now. That was definitely subject to change because what people call members of their family definitely changes the cultural feel of a setting. So that was something that I would have refocused on later. This is first draft stuff, so I was just getting ideas out.
Grandfather. Very
This is
Grandfather.
first draft?
Grants.
Damn.
This is first draft, yeah.
I mean, still so much detail for first draft.
This is a good fucking first draft.
Yeah, this feels like it's already been edited a bit. Damn. Go Treijim.
I mean, I have fixed a couple of typos, but other than that, no typos.
During your process, do you kind of find yourself almost editing, even though it's the first draft, and then kind of catch yourself like, no, it's a first draft?
Sometimes. I will allow myself if it's small and very important. Like, if I'm writing...
Leave it to Treijim to be an amazing writer.
I don't know, let's say... so the silver pen I mentioned from earlier, right, that was on the tie. If I came up with that on the spot, I was like, okay, I need like a plot item here, I'll write silver pen, and then I'm like, actually, golden willow, I want it to be gold. And then I just change it to gold. That kind of like small editing I will do on the spot, especially if it feels significant, but I don't allow myself to linger on first draft stuff. It's not a good use of time, in my opinion. That's what second draft is for, and third and fourth and fifth and sixth.
Precisely.
10th.
Okay, so day 8 we're still on. We return to the Golden Willow, and there is the second waiting minigame. So same minigame I mentioned before, the waiting, got the tables, the kitchen is the antagonistic force, I suppose, and everyone else plays the wait staff and customers. And then I need the music, which I think is this one. Loading now. Okay. So, halfway into his shift, the waiter takes a break. He looks for the buskers. He isn't sure why he expected them to come tonight. The past 3 days have been dull, and his grandfather's appearance has brightened everything. Perhaps he expected that brightness to last. He sits by the canal, watching fireflies dance across dark waters. Hi! The waiter turns to see the busker approaching, waving at him. He doesn't seem his cheery self, but he is carrying his instrument. Is it too late to start playing? The waiter stands. Not at all, but where is your sister? The busker looks beside himself, as though expecting her to be standing right there. She's not well, he says flatly. Oh, is there something I can do? Aye? You can visit her before she leaves, you dolt. Pardon me? She leaves in 2 days. She talks about you a lot, and I don't think I haven't noticed how you two spend time together. You can either wallow at the willow like a wally or let her go, or you can climb down off your chariot and tell her how you feel. My chariot? The busker laughs. Figure of speech, it's your choice. I've said my piece. And he begins to play as he weaves his way between the tables, filling the evening air with spirited music. The waiter's legs carry him to the kitchen. The chef notices him standing there. What is it? He says sharply. The waiter's tongue carries the words to his lips. I need to leave early. Leave early? What makes you think I'll let you do that? We've got half the night to get through. You think I'm gonna... What's going on? His grandfather looms over them both, a friendly tower. I need to leave early, the waiter says to him. Please. Grandfather frowns and opens his mouth, but he pauses as he spots something. He looks at the silver flower pin on the waiter's vest. The old man's harshness melts away. Let him go, he says. He can make it up another night. And he heads back into the fray. Let him go! The chef barks after the man that doubles his stature, and the conversation is lost in the clamor of the kitchen. The waiter takes the opportunity and leaves, asking himself what he's doing as he makes the walk to her house. Perfect fade out, thank you. Okay. Next scene, her house. Must find music. This one. Okay. This scene, I'll be honest, I'm very unhappy with it. But I'll read it anyway. There are no lights in the windows of the house by the canal. The waiter knocks on the door and stands back, and he waits. A small boat bumps up here in the water. Crickets buzz, then stop. The night air is still. This is a waste of time, the waiter tells himself. Making this difficult, I should leave. And he begins to leave. Who is it? He stops. She peers out from the dark, the door ajar. It's me. And then we go inside. The house is stuffy. The shutters are closed tight. Clothing and music sheets are strewn about the furniture. Only a single candle burns low on a small table before a sofa. The baker begins to tidy up. I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting anyone. My brother has been so messy lately. I wish he'd leave his shoes by the door. The waiter barely manages to get a question in. How are you feeling? Me? Oh, I'm fine. There's some bread on the counter. Thank you. The waiter makes his way to the counter and picks up a bagel. But I didn't come here to eat. I came to make sure you're all right. She pauses for a moment, catches her breath and looks at him. Yeah, I'm all right. Please, sit down, the waiter insists, taking a seat on the sofa. He bites into the bagel. It's stale. Can we talk? Talk? The baker places a ball of clothing down. Sure. What are we talking about? About the academy. Right. The academy. She sits up unusually straight and grips her own knees briefly. I've been thinking about that, and I think you were right. I'm not good enough for the academy. I should just... And she waves her hands in the air. Stay here and be a baker my whole life. That's what Ma would have wanted. It's what my brother wants. So, that's what I'll do. The waiter says nothing. He wants to tell her that isn't what he meant. He wants to tell her to go. He wants her to stay. He wants to tell her that he wants to see her more. He wants to tell her how much he cares. But he doesn't. He doesn't smile, nor does he offer words of reassurance, nor does he take her hand. She looks at him. I thought you'd be... And she waves her hand in the air again. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not doing so well. The waiter feels a twitch in his arm. His body tells him to move, to comfort her. His mind tells him to be cautious, to not give her any reason to dislike him. What about the future? In a year or two? You'd be so much more practiced by then, and you could spend all that time preparing. The baker slowly leans back into the sofa. He wishes he could read her mind. Is she mad at him? Does she blame him? Does she even notice how conflicted he is? Then a strange noise fills the quiet room. A stifled, strained whimper. And as the waiter looks for the source, he sees the baker sobbing into her own hands. I'm sorry, he says, but his throat is too dry and the words are never voiced. He shifts beside her and puts an arm around her, feeling her shudder with every gasp. And that's the end of day 8.
Ow, my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's damn.
Man.
You said you didn't like this one, or like this part. Were you thinking of trying to do something else?
I don't.
Or like, what were you thinking of changing?
I originally had a different version of this, where she got angry at him. That's the only part that I've rewritten entirely in this whole script. I came back and I thought that really isn't her character. She's going to internalize it, not externalize it. That's her character. So I rewrote it with that in mind, but probably because I rewrote it with such a big change, it just, in my mind, it stands out. That's probably what it is. I'm not sure that there's anything objectively wrong with it I can say. It's just my knowledge of it, I think.
Did you think about making kind of like this part up to everyone else on where it splits into wherever it goes to the good ending or bad ending? Like where they make a decision on what he does or says?
I will... The endings and the alternate paths and stuff, I'll explain later once I get through the script. Because the alternate paths and choices and stuff aren't in the script, they're over in other documents. So to save myself from jumping around a lot, I'll cover that stuff at the end. Well, not at the end, but afterwards. Okay. We go to day 9. I find the new music. We've had enough time to sit here and feel broken.
I feel literally broken. That was so emotional. Ow.
Yeah.
It was heavy. That was rough. But I get how the waiter is feeling. Once again, you wrote that scene very well. Burb.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Well, like it?
Well.
Appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed it, sicko.
Understand and appreciate.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't have specific music in mind. So what I'll need you to picture, audially picture, is first of all nothing. But after the first paragraph, I want you to picture just the quietness of morning birds, and that's all. But after this first paragraph. Day 9. Only this and day 10 left. The waiter wakes up from a strange dream. He dreamt that he had to walk on the railroad to a grand city. He couldn't walk beside the rail because it was on a tall bridge above an ocean, so he had to walk on the tracks. He could see the city ahead, far in the distance, but with every step came uncertainty, for he didn't know when the train would come. He didn't know how much time he had left. The waiter opens his eyes. The light is soft. Birds chirp gently. Well, he thinks, time for breakfast. And he sits up on his couch. Wait. No, this isn't his couch. This isn't his grandfather's house. This is the baker's house. The baker is asleep beside him. They are both right where they were before they fell asleep.
Aww.
Then a door slams upstairs and the waiter jumps. Of course, her brother must be home. Good morning. She's awake and looking at him. Oh, good morning. I guess we fell asleep. How are you feeling? Better. She offers a small smile. Better than last night. Thank you for visiting. But shouldn't you be going to work? Going to work? He looks around for the clock. Oh no, is that the time? He jumps to his feet. I'm sorry, I have to go. She waves him away and laughs. It's fine, I'm fine. I feel better, really. Just come back later. I'm leaving tomorrow. The waiter's heart dips as he remembers everything. Right. Well, I have to go to work. I'm sorry. I'll come back afterward, I promise. All right. Then we change scene. We make our way back to the Golden Willow. He slept most of the day away. There is the third and final waiting minigame here. Though given the point in the story, probably the most tense minigame of the three, I would imagine. Since we're at like a bit of a crossroads, so to speak. Okay. Is there music for this part? It doesn't say. We'll just say it in silence. During the entire shift, the waiter's mind is elsewhere. Part of him really wants her to decide to stay. But it's the same part of him that he despises. His own selfishness. For hours, he thinks about what he's going to say to her. He guesses what she might say to him. Finally, the time comes for him to leave, and he heads to her and head her to her house. But the waiter is approached by the chef, and he looks dour. I need you to stay behind tonight and clean up. The chef gestures aggressively toward the kitchens. You need to make up early. You need to make up for leaving early yesterday. Stay behind? Yeah, stay behind. You left halfway through your shift yesterday. This is a job, not a hobby. If you're not here, someone has to cover for you. You gotta make it up to your co-workers. The waiter looks about for his grandfather. He can't stay behind. He has to go. But his objections fall on deaf ears. he is forced to remain behind for another hour before being allowed to go.
That's rough.
That's life. And then we go to the next scene, back to her house, which is a song called that. Please be in the list. There it is. Okay. Next song. Next scene. Where it's story beat 16 of 18. Getting close now. Okay. The streets are bathed in the light of the blood moon. Despite the hours of thought the waiter put into what they might talk about tonight, all the guesses, all the words and thoughts and feelings, fall away with every step. The windows to the baker's house are aglow. The waiter knocks and she answers, smiling. And inside, a supper prepared. A jug of honey mead, a shallow bowl of cheese, sausage and olives, roast vegetables, cookies and nuts and dried fruits. Her brother the busker is there, snacking away until she shoos him off. I think the decision was plaguing me, the baker says as she dishes out vegetables. I've always been one to worry myself sick. Choosing between staying and going was, well, the hardest choice I've ever made. You sound as though you've made up your mind, the waiter says, hesitantly, biting into cheese to help mask his expression. I have. She pauses before sitting back down and continuing to eat. I want to thank you properly. I guess that's the main reason for this food. I love my brother dearly, but he's not good at giving me space to think. He just sort of throws his opinions at me and leaves me to deal with it, but having you here last night, it helped a lot. I've thought a lot about my future. The waiter can feel his mind slow down. He can tell. He can tell what she's decided. I have to try, she says. I have to try the academy, at the very least, right? I can't let my fear rule me. I'm not perfect. I'll never be perfect. So that's not an excuse not to try. A silence lingers. The waiter busies himself with dried fruit, chewing slowly, buying time. She's leaving. She's leaving, you idiot. She's leaving. He notices her looking at him from the corner of his eye. Say something. She wants you to say something. I'm happy for you. I hope your dream comes true, he says, putting on his work face. She smiles, but it's not really a smile. I suppose this is goodbye. I suppose so. He takes a detour on his walk home. He sits on a bench overlooking the canal and, looking up at the blood moon, he breaks down. Day 9. 1 left. What have we got?
Ow.
I've got 2.5 pages of dialogue, narration. That's it. Yeah. Okay. I'm good. Everything's fine. Day 10.
Yeah, just take it easy, man.
We're back at the Golden Willow. The waiter loses himself in his next shift. He already said goodbye. She's probably left by now. She would be on a night train to Edrafana. She's probably asleep by her window seat, her guitar case beside her. She's probably not thinking about him. She's probably never going to. She's going to forget about him. She's gone. She's never coming back. The waiter drops a glass, which shatters on the stone floor. Patrons gasp. The chef comes rushing out, followed by the waiter's grandfather. "Yer, you'll pay for that one!" The chef hisses through gritted teeth, but the grandfather pushes in front of him, keeping the chef at bay with an open hand. "Take your break now," the grandfather says in that calm yet strong tone of his. The waiter nods and takes a seat at the edge of the light. He looks down at his own trembling hands. What's wrong with him? He's never felt anything like this before. It consumes him. What? What consumes him? What is it? It's her. She chose something that wasn't him. She chose her own dream. What are his dreams? Waiting on customers? What a pathetic dream. No wonder she left. Finished already? The waiter looks up. The busker stands there, leaning against a post, arms folded. No, I'm just on my break. Pretty surprising, the busker says, glancing away in that I know something you don't way of his. I thought you would have taken the night off, given how much she's been asking to see you. She wants to say goodbye, properly. What? She's asking after... She hasn't left? No, you idiot. She changed her train to the latest one and leaves in an hour. He starts to walk away and looks back at the waiter. Are you coming or not? She wants to tell me something. She changed her mind. No. She just wants a proper goodbye. Or she wants to be convinced to stay. The waiter jumps to his feet. I need to ask my grandpa, but I'm sure he'll let me go. And he runs aside. He finds his grandfather speaking with the chef. Grandpa, I need to... I'm sorry. I need to leave early again. The chef's face turns red. Again? The grandfather guides his grandson outside. Let's talk, he says, and they stand beneath the trellis in the moonlight. That pin. Do you know where it came from? The grandfather gestures to the small silver flower pinned to the waiter's vest. When your father fell in love with my daughter, he didn't just ask for her hand in marriage. He asked for my permission, too. He asked me with that pin. The old man gives a tight-lipped smile, and he looks away. I didn't want to let her go. Not because of any doubt in his character. Your father was a great man, and your mother loves him deeply. How selfish of an old man, He shakes his head, a sparkle appearing in the corner of his eye. But I thought about it for a long time. I wanted to respect their love and their decision, and I wanted to respect his asking of me. So, in time, I decided to do what was best. I decided to let her go, and it was the hardest decision I ever made. Far more taxing than anything ever to do with this restaurant. The waiter looks down at the silver pin. He'd never heard any of this before. He heard the story of how his parents met, where it happened, what they said to one another, but not this. Moments pass, and they meet eyes. You've grown up so much. Go, he says. Go. And the waiter runs faster than he's ever ran before.
Go, man, go.
Okay.
Fly, you fool.
Very much so. Ah, my heart.
Heavy.
Very.
Okay, let's see.
Man,
Let's
I wish
see.
I had more popcorn.
I
My
thought
apologies. Okay.
I really thought.
Which one? Which one? This one. And this one. This one. Okay. Pause.
It's Jules.
All right. So, we are back. In the train station. At this point, just mildly busy train station ambience. The baker stands in a near-empty station, almost dwarfed by all her luggage and guitar case. There are no trains here yet. She sees the waiter, and her face lights up. You made it, she says, as the busker and waiter join her. I wanted to say goodbye properly, the waiter says. And then he realizes he isn't quite sure what that means. Did she want a formal farewell? A hug? A kiss? So, I do hope your train ride is enjoyable. I hope the capital and academy treats you well. And I do hope to see you again. Ha! The busker guffaws. That's not how you say goodbye. Let's do it our way. And he pulls out his violin, nods at his sister, who removes her guitar from the case, and they begin to play. The waiter watches and smiles uncontrollably. He is taken back to the day they met, which feels so far away now. That warm sun, that clear sky, the children playing nearby. The waiter had stood, breakfast in hand, and looked down the street. But he didn't see the street. He saw her green dress, her dark hair. He saw her, and his heart sank. I have a confession to make. I recall telling you that this was going to be the story of how I changed. That was perhaps a little misleading. I am still very much the same person. No, I am more myself than I was. My heart sings two songs. One of longing for love, for wealth, for adventure, and one of caution, of fear and doubt. A song which, for the longest time, felt like a betrayal of the first song. But now, I see that this is not the case at all. I realize it is the heart's nature to want to give up on dreams, because it doesn't want to lose everything it has gained. Sometimes I indulged this fear, and sometimes I pretended it didn't exist. But once I started listening to my heart, I understood what it had to say to me. My heart is afraid of suffering, and yet the fear of suffering hurts more than the suffering itself. And my heart tells me this: we will see one another again. I saw it in her eyes. We will meet again. And the train slowly departs. My friends, welcome to the neutral ending of The Waiter. At least I think that was the neutral ending. I'm not actually sure. That's just the ending I have written. So,
I think it felt pretty neutral. There's some like good parts and some.
Where it's like it's so sweet, but it hurts at the same time. That's pretty neutral to me.
To be fair, it's more neutral than the Prince ending. Let's be real here.
That's very true. This is
Or
not
the-
a story about death.
Or the
Something
pilot's
worse.
neutral.
Neutral in Prince
Yeah.
or the agent.
Or the agent, that's true.
Because you
The
put
agent
feeling
was
of awe and then internal
cyberpunk,
screaming.
The Prince was dark fantasy. This one is just...
It's a romance
I like
novel.
how it's a bit smaller scale.
It's fucking feelings. It's a very small scale, yeah.
Okay.
You know, not every story needs to be something grand.
Absolutely. I think there were only like 8
My hand too.
like main locations in the whole story or something like that? Not many. It's like the train station, the restaurant, his apartment, her apartment, the marketplace.
met?
There's like very few actual locations. Okay. Let's talk endings. As I
Yay.
said, that's the only ending I've written. I don't know which ending it is, but it's not the good ending. What I have, let's see, what have I got here? I have some ideas. I'm not sure which is bad, neutral, or good. I have some worse endings could be that she actually decides to stay, which is arguably not the best decision for her. Or, possibly worse, that the waiter just gives up on her and convinces himself that he doesn't deserve her anyway. Doesn't go to see her at the end. That could also be a bad ending.
That would be a bad ending. Because nobody
Bad
That
ending
just-
A and bad ending B.
That breaks
Because that would
everyone's
be
heart.
he starts off in a mentally worse place than when he started the tour. Like he doesn't grow, he diminishes. I also have possibly a different version of the neutral ending. Maybe this has to do with quests. During the last shift, when his grandfather lets him go, maybe there's something that determines he doesn't take the pin, which means he does not get away from the last shift. Maybe that's neutral, maybe that's a bad ending. But that's also another idea that could have happened. Probably a more... I mean, I guess they're all painful in different ways, but not being able to get away from the last shift, not having that final goodbye, would be like
More of a, damn it,
the pain of the
then.
unknown. Yeah,
Damn it.
exactly.
Versus.
Wait, or he goes anyway and
I feel-
loses his job. That would
I feel
really
like
suck.
if they tried to go with that
Hold on.
ending, it would kind of conflict with the nature of the grandpa if he witnessed that.
True.
Yeah, well, the grandfather, the idea was that the grandfather only let him go because he saw the pin and he was reminded of what he did with his daughter. It's quite possible that if he didn't see the pin, just being caught up in the moment would be like, no, you got to stay. That was the idea behind that one.
I like that.
The other endings I have, it's also possible that the ending we just heard was the best possible ending, because sometimes, even though it's a love story, ending up together isn't the best outcome. Sometimes it's not about... How do I say this? It's like, it's not about... A successful relationship isn't always a lasting one. A relationship can start and end, however brief, and still be successful.
To me, it sounded like... It honestly sounded very close to good ending material, because she still wants to see him. They're going to keep in touch. And, you know...
There was definitely an undercurrent of hopefulness.
Exactly, which
Absolutely.
feels like a good ending for me.
And I would have embellished it a lot more if I decided to use that for the good ending.
Of course.
If it was kept as a good
there's also-
ending, I feel like leaving it as like a very bittersweet would have been the best.
Yeah, I didn't want to do a story where just, oh, he meets someone and they fall in love and then, like, I wanted it to be, I don't know, I just wanted to make you guys suffer, I guess.
And that you did.
Your
That was
sadistic tendencies.
brilliant.
It wasn't even a real tour, I was just reading the script.
Yeah,
that's all the ending ideas I
like
had.
a
Let me
real
see what I
tour,
had
man.
for Palms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
It's
glad
felt
you
like a real
enjoyed it,
tour
because
just
that's
without the running around.
first and last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, less running around.
Technicality, sitting in a traveler's tour is basically just watching a movie from the third person perspective, so it's not entirely different.
Yeah, basically.
Damn.
I mean,
Yeah. And there was also possibly there's possibly another scene I was going to have another path where, depending on things you do, like quests and stuff like that, the chef, the little thunderball guy, could have his own little redemption arc as well. I thought that would be a nice little, oh, excuse me, a nice little side story thing that could have happened.
I feel like a chef's a decent guy anyway.
He's definitely a compact thundercloud.
I mean, he needs his employees to be in the building. He's not that bad.
Have an ending that
He's
leads into the chef
just a
tour.
boss. The chef. Oh god.
The
I would
chef.
die if I had to do that voice all the time.
Yes. Become as mobile air raid siren.
Okay. What else can I talk about?
Oh.
Questions, thoughts, guys.
Okay.
Where choices would have been.
I'm gonna get a bit closer. Choices. So the current plan I had, the plan I had when I wrote this was that it was only the outcomes of the quests that changed the story, because there are 4 quests, 3 of which are repeated. So there's plenty of room for, I guess, variability. It was just a matter of how do I make sense so that, you know, if you fail the marketplace quest, that actually affects the story. It's like that kind of thing. Like maybe failing the marketplace quest puts the chef in a worse mood, so that makes him, you know, stop the waiter more. Just sort of applying the logic to the overall story was one of the difficult parts. So it was only going to be the 4 quests.
Ooh. The silver pin. Where what places where the waiter could have lost the silver pin, where so it doesn't trigger that final set of events.
He could have lost it. He could have also not originally picked it up, because he picks it up, I think, after the first quest.
Yeah. I think
no, my mistake. It's
also-
before the first quest.
No, it was before. It could
Maybe
also
he could have
be
lost
that
it on the first quest or something. Yeah.
It,
Kind of like
it
how the
could
prince
also be
loses the
that
sword.
It's like when
It was when he was tidying up.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking like maybe
Yes,
if
true.
he was around the baker's house, could have given it to her as a keepsake, but then that backfires
Yeah.
by not triggering that.
Absolutely. You guys have some
But
good
it's
ideas.
not going to happen.
Any of those things could be possible.
That could easily cascade into a bad ending where he just finds the pin at the train station and she's gone. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that'd hurt.
Oh, damn.
That'd hurt.
He puts the pin in his heart where it belongs.
Ow.
Man.
Man.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Oh, man.
just the award ceremonies at the Marine Corps.
I love bittersweet moments.
Slam it in. Slam it into their chest.
I have a question.
Yes, Sheen.
So you may not be able to answer this in a way because it may be too spicy over lore wise, but the Blood Moon and Abel is what does Abel is not present in the tour. Is that true?
Not in a way. He's present in a way which is the same as the prince, where it's more like he's a force, not an entity. So one thought I had was that perhaps through some clever loans, you could realize that because the waiter is obviously a reincarnation because he's the main character. So perhaps the thoughts that the waiter has about himself that are self-disparaging could be fed from Abel. That's one angle, but that would have been quite a meta angle, because this story
my
felt
idea?
like if there was possibly. I know you did have some ideas like that.
I think we talked about him, Abel being a some sort of thing rather
The devil
than
on
a
the shoulder.
person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. You're probably right.
The
It was
rat's
probably
underneath
the one
your
that you
hat.
said. I'm just looking at my notes here. Yeah, that's the only idea I had for Abel. Reason being that anything I could think of that brought Abel in just detracted too much from the tone of the story. It was very much
Yeah,
like a
that's-
very down-to-earth story, and Abel is like up above Earth.
That's a
Yeah,
good way
it's
of
like
putting it.
man,
People's up there and
But what if you give him the old smackdown? What if you give him the smackdown?
no,
Smackdown
Abel
that
is
area.
one of
Owns the
the.
McZealots across the street.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god, I'm leaving.
Ah!
Oh, they're gonna open a chain. Oh, no,
And then Treijim left VRTravellers forever and never came back.
Oh no, the small family business. Whatever shall we do?
I'm glad McZealots are stuck around. That's great. I'm glad they're succeeding. I'm happy for their business.
I'm sorry, but also, speaking of terrible things, didn't we briefly entertain the idea of a bad ending where we find out that her train, like, crashes?
Jesus.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god!
I didn't write that down. So if we did, I didn't record it. It's possible.
No,
You
I
should
don't we
not
come up with the
take
worst
it.
ideas.
See,
Yeah.
Sheen came up
You
with
could've
that
pulled-
idea
you
and
could've pulled the
Treijim
Spider-Man
immediately
move.
threw it in his mental trash bin.
I would
What's
like
the Spider-Man move?
information to be conveyed that-
You know, in Spider-Man 2004,
and then her tra-
2002,
and then her train
the one
crashes
train
to
scene.
I haven't seen.
Come on, bro.
I don't watch superhero movies. I don't know.
You know, as
You never
horrible
see
as that
Tobey
would be,
Maguire?
as
Yeah,
horrible
like
as that
20
would
years
be,
ago.
I don't think it would work. Because we would know
The
what
train?
happens, and it would just... Yeah, that wouldn't work, because as impactful as that is, a little bit out of place with the tone of the story, it's we would know that happens, and we would just avoid anything that involves her leaving. If we once we
What
witness
if-
that one time.
Also, I wanted
sure
I
how-
wanted all the endings to come to fruition fully at the end of day 10. I didn't want anything beyond that.
Oh, wait
that
a
also
minute,
would have
what
gone
if-
against that?
What if he got on a train and the lecturer looked at him and was like, a spark of recognition in the old,
like my
old man's
son.
eyes. He looks like my son.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
no, good end.
Yeah,
Good
crossover.
What if a bad ending?
Yeah, good
What's not a
end.
good
She
ending?
ends up staying,
Like
but what ends up happening is that since she gives up,
Do you have time for an old man story?
No, that's
The
geologist.
That would have been an entertaining
secret ending.
little crossover.
The secret
The
ending.
crossover ending.
Waiter
Break the narrative.
joins the train and works as a ticket holder
Like the Silent
to
Hill
then
UFO
be like, oh yes, lecturer.
Yeah, no, the Silent Hill dog ending.
this is more
There you
like,
go.
like a random bad ending,
Never.
but
Yeah.
if she ends up staying, and
Mhm.
but because she works at the shop and she's not really following her dream, is that he basically slowly watches her degrade more and more instead of being happy and kind of like she gives up.
I wouldn't describe
playing
all
entirely
that because
of
that would go beyond day 10. What I would probably do is just the moment where she decides to stay, the way it's conveyed, the music I play, the thoughts behind it would demonstrate that that's probably what's going to happen. Like she's going to be miserable in this, rather than actually giving you the actual events. That's probably what I'd do. Like she's staying, but you can tell that she's giving up on her dream because of it, and she's going to be unhappy as a consequence.
and that's very much not good.
The loveless
Yeah.
marriage ending.
Until was saying earlier that
not
was
wrong.
marriage. Jesus Christ. Oh,
Any more
God.
questions, guys? Comments, insights, thoughts?
Insects?
I can already think of like three.
No,
Insight.
not insects. When can we expect the giant mech?
Painter 2. Probably.
Oh,
Knowing Sheen.
When do we get the
Clear-
prompt to throw?
clearly
Painter
the
story
chef
has mechs in
had-
it. That's not a surprise. What do you mean?
Clearly, the chef had that under his head the whole time.
Sorry,
not
which
a
mech?
mech.
Sorry,
It's
the mech is where?
Ratatouille is a mech.
idea and concept of the theme of the
Yeah.
whole freaking.
So that's where
Treijim.
you're going with.
Did you
Yes.
have a favorite part when you were writing?
Pocket sand.
Now that I've reread it, there are some parts that I like. There are various parts I like, but for very different reasons. So there are parts that I like because I think they're effective, not because they're pleasant. But then there are other parts that, like the moment they meet, I really like. I really like the description of the first pastry. I really like the characters of, even though they're secondary, the grandfather and the chef. I really like their characterizations, and the Basker. There's a lot of strong characters in this, in my humble opinion.
Oh, definitely.
Where are my good shoes?
Oh, yeah.
Just the grandfather's sass. I just chuckled while I wrote that. It was just very fun.
Yeah. The sass. You gotta love it.
I think the grandfather having the hard time with the waiter was my favorite part.
Yeah. That was. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Where are my good shoes?
So they are. Now we can quote stuff from this tour, and people will be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Here's a question for people. Unfortunately, this is not something that can happen. You can't learn anything from this tour. But if you could, what would you learn? Now that you've heard that.
Ooh, guitar.
Might be a high
silver
tech
pen.
one.
No.
The silver pen. Get out of here.
Yes.
Guitar, the violin, the silver pen.
Could you repeat the question again?
How about the pastry?
What would you learn from this tour?
The pastry.
The menu, yes.
The pastry,
The pastry? You can't mind the pastry.
I imagine that would be interesting if you actually had like a menu in the minigame.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would have been an actual menu.
I want the chef's hat.
Yep, a menu.
How they
Yeah.
learn.
The instruments.
Wait, the chef's hat?
Yeah. I want his hat.
The chef's
Little
hat?
chef.
Sure, yeah. The guitar, the violin, yeah.
Someone else said.
What about the busker signs? A whole bunch of names that don't make sense to you guys.
The busker signs.
Or the clocks. The clocks that tell the time. Lots of learnable things. You can't really hold. Actually, there's household clock. Never mind.
Grandpa's shoes?
I forget.
The
good shoes.
Leave my shoes alone.
You're gonna
Versace,
steal shoes
what's
from
that?
him.
Where are my good shoes?
The presence of good shoes.
Stepping on his feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vice
We
President
want Gramps
evil
bad
shoes.
shoes.
Yeah.
Evil
Can
shoes.
you imagine all the special orders at the bar after you finish your first showing of this tour?
True.
It'd be like
yeah,
that
a lot
Lord
of
of the Rings meme, the army approaching as you run forward.
Maybe Abel's presence is felt
Your secrets.
when he can't find his good shoes. He has to wear his bad shoes, and it causes the bad. It's Jordan's.
The bad ending. The way increases.
You can't find his Vans. You can't find his Crocs.
Damn, Grandpa, back at it again with the white vans.
Who asked the question about the time setting? Who asked the question about the time period?
Grandpa's Jordans were fake.
Who asked the time period question?
Someone.
Are they still here?
Oh.
Oh, Tusi? Is that you?
Yeah.
What do you think now? Was it evident enough in the story itself?
Damn, Grandpa.
Like with how everything was described, I kind of think kind of like an older, kind of like Germanic town almost.
Mm-hmm. How much older? Mm-hmm.
Early 1800s would be my guess.
Victorian.
Were there been trains at that point?
No, I think it's
close, yeah.
After the invention of trains.
Because I have the pictures. I have like the pictures and scene in my head, but I can't actually describe
in the
it.
city, so.
Because I'm not really sure what to call it.
Yeah.
During area
They
where you
had
have like
steam
steam
power. They
pumps or
didn't
something.
have light bulbs.
Steam engines
Almost.
and stuff.
Steam pump.
Kind of like
Yeah.
I like
steampunk,
steampunk-ish,
but no electricity.
Yeah, steam.
Diesel.
Like I think a time before electricity.
Maybe it was
And
like
almost
16
Victorian-ish, kind of like with a mix of German.
Well, yeah. I mean this all sounds pretty accurate to me. Yeah, you guys got it spot on. That's pretty much
19th century.
You say countryside, so
1999.
I would think kind of like
No, not
1888.
long, like wide, long valleys between everything.
Back in
I like
my day
mountains,
before
mountainous
electricity
With
terrain.
the
was a
ocean on
thing.
one side.
We
Yeah,
had fire.
trickety. Grandpa, is that you? Do you have your bad shoes on?
Oh yeah, no. Gramps had
I
his
found them
bad
outside.
shoes on when he caused Time Crash Zero.
Ombudsman was wearing them.
Graham's bad shoes, Graham's good shoes. Someone make that meme comparison.
Graham's mediocre shoes.
Hey Treijim, one thing I really liked about the story is
What?
you did it a
Oh,
little. You
hello.
did it a little
I
bit
got
in the
over that.
Prince with setting descriptions, like the market, the town that we walk through. That description always stays in my mind. But in this story, you really went with the dust in the air, with the glowing orbs, the fireflies, the boat bumping against the dock. That was all just phenomenal. Really, really. That immersed me. I'm pretty sure that immersed everyone as well.
Yeah, that was.
And alliteration. Good use of alliteration.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my favorite line. Hang on, alliteration. You can either wally at the willow like a wally. And the busker said
But I
that.
wish I was here early. Damn it.
The busker
Is the
was
busker,
fucking
is the
amazing.
busker Irish?
Yeah, I love that. He was awesome.
Yeah, it was like an Irish accent. My attempt. An Irish accent.
Your Irish is fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
I wish I knew the busker.
It was really awesome.
He seems so nice.
Hi.
You want to what?
We all need a friend
that
like the
friend that
busker.
gives you a kick in the ass when you need it.
I said I wish I knew the busker. He seems so cool.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
Yeah, basically.
Get out there and show him who's boss.
Climb down off your chariot and tell her how you feel.
My chariot?
I do hope the busker becomes a
What he said,
recurring
Tom.
character at some point. He said,
Yeah,
The who?
Chariots of Fire.
the busker.
The busker. Yeah, look.
Have the busker show up.
Busking.
Sharing this, I feel so bittersweet because I mean, I hope it's clear that my heart is in this story, but
You could make the
It's just not
busker
gonna be
a kind of
finished.
character at the what is it called?
I'm curious.
Painter too.
Loan the bus.
The refuge, yeah. You can make the busker a
So-
character at the refuge.
With
I would make all the characters at the refuge. That's up to Sheen.
So with
Looks
this
actually
being a
brilliant
story
idea.
that
Okay, so who's writing that immediately?
Sheen, write that down.
so with this being a story that isn't going to like it isn't going to be continued
Write
anymore,
down
correct?
you got all the characters.
Right, it's kind of like just
Oh,
everything's
yeah,
kind of this one's just kind of,
If the Gramps
Yeah.
isn't
So
named
with-
in
I mean,
the
there is a
refugee,
restaurant
he's
there.
got
So,
to mention his shoes.
with this being a difference of how most
What about
other
my
scripts are really
shoes?
held in a lot of secrecy, compared to this one being kind of like all of us hearing your different thought processes and how it was supposed to go. I'm kind of curious on how you feel with all of us talking to all of us through what you were going to do, and having different thoughts come from us, and
Oops, I,
like how do you feel with all of that, and kind of hearing
Damn it.
what we we see and hear from what you just described to us.
How do I feel about it? I feel two ways. On the one hand, I feel I had a lot of fun doing this and I enjoyed it, and I feel like it's the least I can do. Like, it wasn't my intention to ever announce it to it and then cancel it, and I thought, I've got to give him something. And I thought, why not just give him everything? Everything but the world, that is.
You've watched everything.
And so on the one hand, I really enjoyed that, and I loved, no offense, making you guys cry or laugh or whatever, like all the roller coaster that you went through this tour. I was there with you, do not worry. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff is inspired by real life events.
Yeah, I can't do that.
So that's probably why it's so close to my heart. On the other hand, there's a lot of like, I don't know, like, I'm probably always going to feel guilty that I don't get to finish this tour, I think. And I know that none of you guys are going to come up and have a go at me for that. Like, this comes from me and my own expectations of myself. I just feel bad that I'm not going to finish this tour.
That's understandable.
Completely understand that.
I
feel you're
totally
doing
get that
yourself
from
quite
it.
well, though, with
Yeah.
basically giving us this insight.
Yeah. well, who, someone's got to replace
What
him
am I
one day,
annoying?
I know.
No what?
I know.
Sorry, Ward. Are you saying that we're going to be making the tour for you?
I don't think
No,
anybody likes you,
no.
Treijim.
No, I'm just saying, like, look, this is the first time we're saying anything public about it, but, I mean, it should be kind of obvious anyway. We're not going to have Sheen carry the storytelling on his own indefinitely. We're going to need another tour guide soon.
Yep.
I sort of found a guy that sounds like both of you when you put on your narrator
I
voice,
wonder who that could be.
but couldn't figure out who he is, and I kind of lost him. So
No,
I'm sure you guys
why'd
can
you
figure
say
it out.
that way?
As ever.
I have a few suspicions, and one main suspicion.
Yeah, I have a suspicion about your suspicions.
In case you didn't hear,
I guess a more
what Treijim was
generalized
trying-
question, as are many of my questions.
Hold that thought.
Go ahead. Yeah, sure. It's okay.
This is more of a question about your writing style. What kind of order do you write things in? Do you start at the beginning, come up with a concept, start from the middle, etc.?
Just in general, not specifically this tour, you said? Okay. That is a good question. This might seem like a bit of a cheat answer, but I mean it 100% seriously. Do whatever works. And that's going to change, depending on the idea I have. Sometimes a story is birthed from a vision, sometimes from a concept, sometimes a specific source of interaction. Sometimes I have scenes in my head already and I just have to get them down in words. So I try not to limit myself to one process, because I feel like that's just going to get in the way of the creativity that's coming to me naturally. So my answer to that is just whatever works, whatever's needed at the time. If that's not sufficient, feel free to poke for more information.
Yeah, I was thinking they're typing.
Yep. They're doing the 45-degree turn.
I see, which makes sense. What was it for this tour, if you don't mind me asking?
For this tour, that depends, because this might sound a bit strange. Sometimes it's hard to pinpoint when this tour actually started. But do I start it from when he was a waiter? Do I go back to when he was a barrister? Because that would have been basically the same setting. And I did have another older idea when he was making coffees in a coffee shop, and the story, there was no grandpa there. The story was like a thief came and stole something from the shop or something. They had to do a stealth section in the city. Like, there's no point where I can say this is where the waiter became the waiter. So even though I'd really like to answer that, it just goes to show, I think, the organic evolution of ideas is just, they just indefinitely run into each other. I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah, okay.
Sort of sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to answer that in a way that feels more helpful, but I can't think of a way to phrase it. I don't know. I don't know. Are you at the typing angle? You are.
Yep.
Still is insightful.
Okay, you're welcome. And I'm always happy to answer questions like that.
Sheen time.
Sheen, you were saying something.
Oh, yes. Just wanted to restate what you said, in case not everybody caught it. Treijim just sort of informally announced something that we've been talking about for a while. We're open to looking for other performing tour guides. We currently are in no need of a world builder type tour guide. we are in need of someone that will do two things mainly: perform and write tours. So
Their
it is
own tours,
officially
yes.
Yeah, their own tours. Of course, we all help each other, but that is officially now public announced.
Yeah. And that is something that, I mean, by all means express interest now if you want to, but into next year, I'll be leading that sort of recruitment process. That'll be something that I'll be pretty busy with, is preparing a performing replacement for me. So yeah, and I want to emphasize, when I first joined Sheen, I never thought I would be telling stories to groups of people. Ever. I never thought about voice acting. I liked stories. I liked making stuff. That's about it. And my first story, The Archaeologist, is very small, very humble. We do not expect new tour guides to make their own worlds. Just do whatever the heck works for you. We will talk about that as we go into the process, so please do not feel discouraged if you feel like, oh, I don't have a good storytelling voice, or I'm not confident enough, or whatever. It does not matter. You build that as you go. All you need is a passion for telling stories and making people feel things. That's all. But that process will be started into next year, and there'll definitely be announcements for that. Okay. I guess last call for any questions before we get into some closing words. Yes, Panda.
I remember long ago it was mentioned community tour. Like, I've heard that was a thing. Yeah,
that comes after the painter tone.
Ah, okay.
I think Sheen's schedule for that right now is eventually TM.
On the ceiling.
Okay, alright.
Could you repeat the question? I actually didn't hear it, sorry.
He was
The
asking
community
about when
tour.
CWT is coming.
Yeah. CWT. I heard that it existed or was mentioned.
It exists. That's
I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
okay.
correct. And I will talk about that in a moment, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did someone have a question over here? Sorry, Panda, was that all?
No, that's it.
Okay. Someone over here have a question? No?
I guess it was kind of what I was thinking of earlier, is that normally, like throughout the story, you did an amazing job at describing like locations, and then especially the girl. But I don't remember if we ever got do we have a description of the main character?
You do not, and that's pretty common in our tours. Mostly because it allows for easier self-inserts. But there is no description of the waiter. If there are any artists here who want to take a jab at it, feel free, because I know what he looks like in my mind. I just don't want to push that onto anyone else.
You want to make sure that we all keep we all keep what we thought that he looks like.
Exactly. Although if they end up in the sanctuary, then you're gonna see the sprites either way. So we'll just see where that goes. Okay. Sheen, do you want to do your...
I think he would look like Ryan Gosling, because I identified with that guy. He's literally me.
Sheen, do you want to do your closing words first, or do you want me to go? No, you go first. I need to rest my voice.
Sure. Okay. I'm dropping character, by the way. But yes, thank you, Treijim. You did.
You dropped your character.
I dropped it on the floor over there. Treijim, this was wonderful. Just again, I want to say thank you for sharing this with all of us, and even though it'll never be a story that we'll experience in a story tour form, I'm just grateful that we got to learn about it at all. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Treijim, for taking us on this journey.
Thank you,
Treijim.
Yes, thank you. This is awesome.
Thank you. I've maybe not been here long, but
This was beautiful.
thanks for narrating.
You haven't been here long, but you sure have been
Your
here.
microphone. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite it only being
been here.
the first draft.
I've been on here on my third day of VRTravellers. That was really nice. 2 months ago. What was
Oh, wow.
it? October?
Poor thing.
Yeah. Poor thing. What? Damn.
I mean, so the reason I say that is because a lot of people who first join VRChat and then find us are like, oh, this stuff is amazing. And then they go out into VRChat looking for more, and they're just like, this place sucks. Except VRTravellers. What's wrong with VRChat? Yeah, exactly. That's why I said, yeah.
First
problem with our travel
you
is
basically
sell.
gave us an entire story. Like you gave us already an entire story on the first draft, and
yeah,
and it's beautiful. With
Oh,
so
man,
much detail and
my
like,
head
all the
is
pictures and everything in my head just
bursting
you
with
gave me.
stories at all times.
The world building. And
It is a
everything
wonder
was
it
just-
doesn't explode. That's what I do. That's what I'm passionate about.
Not again.
Again? I just don't want to emphasize, like you said, this is
That-
the first draft, and you
Well,
gave us
that's
all
why
of
they
this. Like this was already an entire, like this was an entire tour on the first draft. So,
Yeah,
Were you
exactly.
two flossing in my presence? What's going on?
Wait, this is not a tour?
On tour and it's great.
No, I was just reading out
I'm late.
a tour that I cancelled.
I just got here.
That's my notes, expanded notes.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Treijim.
Well, I'm not doing it again.
Treijim.
Yeah.
I know you said that you're gonna
Yeah.
be doing the other different
You'll
kind
be
of
fine.
tour guide stuff, but I'm
We've
still
recorded this.
I'm a little worried. I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% convinced you won't just explode and never come back.
I don't know
You
who
sure?
are you. I can't see
You won't,
again.
like,
You're
blow
just
up or
black
something?
spot in this.
Are you gonna blow
I
up?
mean, if I do, then mourn for me. Okay, but that's a good point. I want to emphasize. I want to make clear to everyone. I am not leaving VRTravellers after this. Just in case anyone is under that impression, I am retiring from performing, not from being a tour guide. So just to be clear about what my roles will look like into next year, aside from the recruitment stuff, I will continue to run the Discord, still technically under my name as far as Discord servers. Still doing the merch store, still VR chat groups. That's all stuff that's under my umbrella. I'm still going to be the lore guy who helps with writing and revising behind the scenes stuff. I'm still doing the VR Explorers campaign, which is for the second rank of Patreon members. I'm going to run that through to its conclusion. After that, we'll just see. Depends what I have going on in life. I'm still going to be attending tours as a tour guide. In that respect, you can look at me as another Rendizo or Nick, just with more baggage, I guess. But I'll still be helping out with tours. My performing tours in Sheen's future tours will be non-existent. My performing tours in existing tours will be probably reduced. We'll just see how that goes. And that's it. That's what's changing.
Whenever you get it.
What about your whole library thing? Able to loan stuff?
I'm still doing loans. Yep. That loans won't change. That's all the same.
So, question. For
Yes.
tours where it splits into two groups, will you be partaking in that, or will it now just return to?
It's
one
probably going to change from tour to tour. A lot of them were actually designed so that Sheen could take either path. We just usually don't, because that way Sheen gets a break, because he doesn't write tours into his breaks into his tour because he's a Wally. But we yeah, no, I think I answered that question.
You still haven't forgiven me.
Painter 2 has a break. Don't worry. Painter 2 has a break. I wouldn't let you not have a break. Painter 2 has a break, but it's 5 hours long.
I don't know if you're being serious or not.
It's like the sniper.
I haven't even... Look, Pack. I know a little bit more... I know slightly more about it than you do.
Oh wow.
I don't know shit. I haven't seen the script, nothing. Just whatever Sheen has ranted to me. And got feedback on.
It's like the same
You
thing
should
all
make
over
it
again
longer
if
than the
you-
appraiser. That'd be so
and
dope.
work you to the tilt.
Trust me, Pack. He has.
I
Make it 6 hours.
As long as the angel comes back, that's all I care about.
No, you gotta do this.
Make it
You should
24
make the
hours
tour so
long.
long that
Oh, yes.
you have to split it up into 2 separate weekends. Part 1, two part 2.
He has to do a fucking
I do have a couple
20-minute recap
important
of the
announcements.
second weekend.
I wish I had
Previously
Announcement.
Unity 2022. Here we go. Is that you, Ren? Holy shit. Ren? Oh, there it is, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm completely not in character now. I apologize, I'm not as articulate when I'm not in character. Anyways, so Sheen isn't articulate to begin with. But anyways,
Hey, I'm not as articulate when I'm in character.
You want the Johnson one?
Just to kind of build on the answer to Panda's question, if you recall, I actually did Treijim's Path in the pilot once, and it was very rough. I barely got through it, and I shortened the boss fight because I hadn't actually not practiced it, and so. But I will be doing the pilot in the future, and it will have me doing the path that Treijim did, so that way he doesn't have a performing role anymore. It'll be way more polished the next time that I do it. I promise. But we do have a few more announcements. So first and foremost, before anybody else leaves, this is very important. The NPC Open Project, I believe that's the name that I officially gave it in the announcement of the Discord. The NPC Open Project is where you submit an NPC that will appear in the world of the Painter 2. I'm bringing it up again now because the due date is the last day of December. I ask that if you do not know about this, you still have time. You are welcome. It's very easy. You don't even have to create your own sprite. You can just pull one from Spriter's resource, and you can make a character that says a single sentence. I've made many NPCs that appear in the Painter 2, and some of them only say a few words. And so if you want to know more about it, please scroll up in the events and news channel and you will see my post about it. And there you can click a link that will take you to a full description of what to do. As a reminder, if you've already submitted some, you are very welcome to submit up to 4. I see Treijim just posted a reminder link for you to see there in the Travelers chat. A shortcut. So please, if you have not submitted those, please do send those to me in a DM in Discord, and I will be sure that they get in the world. So yeah, the due date for the NPC Open Project, please keep that in mind. Another announcement. As you know, I've put a lot of stuff on hold in order to complete the Painter 2. I launched Dilf Quest, and if some of you don't know what that is, it's Dude I'd Like to Follow Quest. It's an exercise streaming basically thing that I do. Is actually pretty successful and well received. However, I did pause it after doing it for a little over a month because... Did I do it for 2 months? Well, I paused it because... It was just too hard to do and continue to work on the Painter 2. Nick and I are together on a voice call almost every day for hours, and I have to say thank you to my family that is currently sleeping for letting me be on a voice call with Nick every single day. But but this is what it requires to finish this monster project, and so I don't want days to keep going on where I'm away from my family to work on this. I want, and Nick as well, his time, and of course his time as well, not just me. I want to finish this, and I want to do it right. I don't want it to be rushed. So I am going to keep Dilf Quest paused it absolutely will come back. The CWT will absolutely be finished. I promise that. That's the community written tour. If you want to know more about that, you can ask me, and I will give you an explanation. But another big announcement as far as sacrifices to complete the Painter 2 is I have decided to pause all VRTravellers tours for possibly 2 months. Normally, this is not out of place. We have paused VRTravellers traditionally in December, and we do pause the Patreon. We don't want you to pay us when we're not performing. So I will be pausing the Patreon for at least a month, most likely more. But I'll make a solid statement on that once I talk more with my team.
What if they want to send you money anyway?
Well,
we have a
coffee. Yeah,
Ko-fi.
we have a Ko-fi, Ko-fi, however you pronounce it. We do have that.
It's in the info channel.
It's in the info channel. You can find
at the bottom
for it there.
Right.
It's
I have a
the
Patreon,
Ko-fi is it's a great way
and a merch store.
Yeah, it's a great way for people to support us when they don't want to do a subscription-based support that Patreon forces you to do. So you're completely welcome to do that. But yeah, so I am sorry to say, but it is the only way for me to finish the Painter 2 is if I pause VRTravellers until it is done. So that means there will be no more tours until the Painter 2 releases. I expect this to take 2 months, probably to be complete, and then we'll probably need another week for testing before we launch it. So this means that we hope that everything will be paused, and so I do apologize. So that.
Don't dwell too much.
We
It's
understand,
okay.
man.
Don't
it's all
dwell.
good. Yeah.
Takes work.
And hey,
Like,
I mean, us
you're doing his
could
work for
find
free
something
for
to
us.
fill the void during that
Apology
time.
rejected.
I already thought of something that could help
Apology
fill the void during the Painter 2. Just
Yeah.
have a day where
and
VRTravellers come in and
Plus, it'll
see
be the
some
holidays.
skits.
We'll be doing all kinds of stuff.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, use this time to learn about new things, to other bright. There's other bright spots in the world to focus on, but I assure you, when you
That's the only
when you
good
turn
thing about
back
this.
to look back at VRTravellers after this break, our bright spot will be shining the greatest it ever has. There are so many people. Yeah, there are so many people that are helping and supporting us. Just about all the money that goes that comes from our Patreon goes right back into the community. So we've got a lot of people. There's going to be a really, really big credits board in the world lobby of the Painter 2, a long list of names. So all I can say is that
Yes.
Sorry.
My water source running nose.
All I can say is that
This bright spot is gonna get so bright it's gonna be a flashbang at this point if you make it any brighter.
You know, I was thinking of making that joke. Thank you for making it.
Think
Yeah,
fast.
that's right.
We don't.
Unless you guys have
We don't wait.
nothing.
I've talked a lot
We did have
about
a Twitch at one
how
point.
great I think the Painter 2 is going to be for like a whole year, so I feel bad to keep doing it. But one thing's for certain is that we've never tried so hard on anything.
Oh shit.
So I promise you it'll be worth the wait.
I want to make a quick mention as well. Speaking of commissions and stuff, a quick shout out to Wyatt, because I paid him to get all the maps that I was going to use for the basis for the waiter. Ended up not using them, so I feel bad bad about that, but you know, I'm thanking you anyway for your hard work. Yeah. I mean, I still paid him. The commission was done.
Where did you work?
I just didn't turn him into a tour.
Where did work?
Yeah.
You just didn't. You wasted it all.
Definitely paid for his time.
I guess that's not
I just didn't use the maps. My apologies. Updating stuff in Unity is a pain in the butt. I don't have the patience for it, and the maps aren't really usable anyway, so maybe I'll give you screenshots one day, who knows. There's barely anything anyway. Just wanted to give Wyatt the recognition for doing that.
Wow, bravo.
Yeah. The
wonder what the settings were. They were.
One thing I would like to say is that we're not going to be completely silent during the months before the Painter 2 is released. I'll be going back into posting updates. I've been posting updates in the patron only channel of for people to see screenshots of the world and little tidbits of me talking about what we did on a particular session. I want to start. I have stopped doing that, but I want to bring that back, especially since there's no tours taking up our time. And I'll see if we can put some stuff in the main VRTravellers channel as well for people that are not patrons, so you guys can see that we're working. We're definitely working. All of you giving your positive words, thank you for that. But please also direct them to Nick as well, because Nick is giving an equal amount of time as I am to working on this project. Without him,
and Rendiza
2 would not exist. Yes, and Rendiza, wherever he is. Where is he? There he is.
He's right behind you. Rendiza's project. Oh boy.
Behind Vizo.
Oh, Nick is messaging me. There are well over 200 maps in the Painter 2. It's gotta be.
This shit gonna be bigger than Breath of the Wild.
200.
Sheen, the way to head 10. So take that.
Oh.
Yeah.
The way to literally have 10 maps.
I'll check. Like
200 is very good.
The first AAA VRT tour.
Triple K.
A whole day on VRT.
We are a team of 10,000 people.
VRT has studios in several countries. I mean, technically that's true. Multiple countries.
We are international, technically.
International.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, we are. That's right.
There's one over here and 3 over there.
There's got to be at least one alien in this group too, so we can say we're interplanetary as well.
At least one alien?
Intergalactic.
I wouldn't mind entertaining the travelers during the
that's right,
wait
you're
for
just
the Painter
texting, you
2.
can't
I'm gonna end this recording before something crashes.